the zone, breaking it down from her comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair, politics sass and a killer stare. Casey's lurking tail in the frame, Shaq's already playing their games. That target day, sharp and bold, hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite within the way, still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack. Now buckle in, no looking back. That dark night, let's go!
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Let's check something out here. Just the usual scuff, as you can see. I changed my audio setup for being on Wix stream, so I might be a bit loud now. Hey Nobor, good to see you. Olo. Shower hair. Yes. Okay. So listen, that is also part of why I was late. But then, hey June. But then, what's the name? The internet was doing some weird stuff, so it just compounded. Okay. But you know what? At least I'm fresh. Okay, as a daisy, and I'm a little bit red faced because I did cardio. Yay, cardio day. Let's go. But that's not why we're here today. Today, we are here for sad things, shocking things in South Africa. I know that most of the people that watch me aren't even from South Africa, but maybe we'll get some South Africans coming in. Let me just check my hashtags. I think it's still interesting for anyone who isn't South African to listen to this, because it is about property rights. It's still it's a good example of how shit can go wrong, and how crazy laws can get. And yeah, that's what we're going to look at. I haven't finished this whole documentary. I've watched about half of it, and already just from what I've watched, my mind is blown. I'm like, is this for real? Is this really what South Africa is doing? Yeah. And again, why am I surprised? I don't know. I guess I didn't know how stupid it was. Okay. I guess I'm not surprised that it is stupid. But yeah, I just didn't know. I think that's it. That's literally the where I'm at, is that I just did not know. If you were wondering what I'm talking about, it's land grabs that happen in South Africa. Particularly this diagram, this documentary goes over one that happened in Cape Town, very far away from where I lived, but still everybody knows Cape Town, and it's just one example of many land grabs that have happened in South Africa, and it's an investigation into just why something like that happens and how, and it's phenomenal. It's incredible. Seems you had an innate wisdom to remove yourself, yeah? I guess so. I think that's most people that have left South Africa, that you look for opportunities, that most people look for opportunities to leave, or be employed by something that isn't South African. So like even remote work with an external company is better than being attached to South Africa at this point. But there are people that are working to try and make it better, and some people would criticize me for even having an opinion while being an expat. They're like, "Well, you abandoned us, so what? You don't really have much to, you know, you don't. We don't really care what you have to say." But I care about what's going on there. I can't do much about it, but I would like to see, and I'm sure you guys, smart people, be interested in it. Bar me, by the way. You weren't here, or I don't know, maybe you were lurking, but I have got several Hanson things for you, because remember, that is exactly what we discussed. So there's there's a clip. So obviously I had to alter the audio. So here's the clip of high. Okay. Then there's low. And there's the whole chorus. I've got it all there. We're already bopping. Yeah. You are doing something about it right now. About what? By talking? Yeah, I suppose. That is lonely criticism. Yes. Lonely criticism. I'm all alone. Hey Wade, welcome back. Wade was up with me as well. We were on Wick's channel, Wick TV. We were having a discussion. So he was up until at least 3 o'clock because I was up until 5. So yeah, I had a great time over on Wick's channel. Go and have a look-see on at Wick TV, where we just spoke about whammons and evil. And Wade was also one of the call-ins. That and that is leading us to what we're probably going to be doing a think on this week is evil. Barmy, thank you for the memberships. We don't have our alerts on because I'm going old school and just putting my microphone and my headphones. No audio cables, nothing. Okay, we're just trying to keep it smooth. Yeah, so I'll play this for you again. Which one? Shall we do a chorus low? No. There you go. Great chat. Not erudite made a turn as well. Yes, that was a long, good one. I'm interested in. I must watch more of her stuff, because she is quite fascinating to talk to, and she is very fun to nerd out to just listen to. So, but then I guess Wick was like, "Are you guys done?" Because we just got into a bit of it. But yes, we're going to have a think on evil this week. So let us get to the documentary. Now it is done by actually a comedian figure. So this is not like a Dave Smith kind of thing. A satirist. Satirists are more than just people that comment on fast food and things and living life. Comedians, you know what I'm saying? So he's been he's built quite a channel on YouTube and on X and everything, criticizing the South African government. Part of the staple of there's a circle, circle of channels that you should watch as a South African that criticize the South African mainstream media. There's more and more of them now, but he's part of that circle, and he now went and created this documentary. So let's get to the actual documentary. I'm hoping this will. I think most of the time when I do something, it's fair use because I take forever to do stuff. It's not a normal hour for you when I catch this, but it's almost 2 a.m. here. Why am I up? I don't know. Why are you up? Like, I stayed up until 2 a.m. to do a show last night, but otherwise there's no chance of me being up at 2 a.m. on a weekday. I'm a good gal. Apologies, I'm not always around. Can't be there for Zax's wheel as well. It's okay, Barmy. As long as you're okay, we're good. Foulball Productions reposted the stream. Thank you so much, Foulball Productions. I'm wondering if I should continue. You are up. Why are you up at 4 a.m. for the gym, for the pump? Okay, let me get them. Yes, I was talking about fair use. Guys, go and actually watch the documentary itself. I've got it linked in the description in all over the place. It's on X. He's released it on X, and it's on YouTube as well. It's doing really well. So all the South Africans are watching, but it'd be really cool to get the opinions of, you know what, some frustrated Americans and Englishmen and Australians, whatever, who are just tired of with their own shit. Come and look at our shit. Come and look at South Africa's crap and be like, yeah, you know, just have a look at it. That's all. So figure out whether you would be happy with what's going on or not. Hi there, Kyle. Okay, so the only way I would be awake at 2 a.m. is okay for a stream, or if I was playing Monster Hunter, just if I'd got stuck into it. There it is. Okay, hold on. You know, it's almost as if it's in the link of my channel. Of my stream right now. They don't know what shit is. You're not South African, you left us. I still have a South African passport, okay? So I count. He's a degenerate. Do you sleep at all? Let's just hold on. Let's just get the get my link. Sorry, guys. I'm wondering. I'm trying to be all smart and not use OBS this week, but now I'm thinking I'm gonna need to because I'm diagramming. So there's that. Let's go to the link. Okay. But let's just get a little bit of an intro going with it anyway. She sounds like a South African. I sound like it, so that's it. Hello, chat group. Hello, Intrepid. I just came back from Hawaii, so my sleep schedule is a mess. What? Wow, what were you doing in Hawaii? That's cool. Chilling. Okay, just hold on. There we go. It's called Stolen Ground, guys. Let's go all the way back. She naps, as if South Africans don't nap. Okay. There we go. There we go. There. Let's see what the audio is like for you guys. So by the way, just so you know, we're going to be looking at some graphic content. It contains footage of riots, land invasions, and scenes that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. And then if we go over here, oopsie. My X-Mind is blank. My X-Mind is blank, guys, but that's what we'll be doing. I'm wondering if I should you guys don't even look at the diagram when I'm talking anyway, so I'm wondering if I should just show it to you periodically. Yeah. I nap often and aggressively, but I'm old. You got to nap with one eye open if you're a South African. That's good. No OBS, feel strong, man. No, just chilling, straight chilling. Okay, good. Come and chill and watch what's going on in South Africa. Or what can go on. Okay, so it wants me to... okay. Let's go video. Finally, she starts it. She's doubting the chat. She is doubting the chat. What has happened since I've been away? Doubting them? What is chat supposed to be my compass? Guys. I pressed the back button on my stupid mouse. Scuff's in the chat. Okay, we're back. We're back. I think we're back. Okay. Let's go. Could you play, please? So, this is the racetrack, because the whole thing is this racetrack in Tygerberg, Cape Town, was land grabbed. Okay, so this is obviously what we lost. Very nice and sad stuff immediately. Turn left. That's right, isn't it? That's left.
quite a volatile situation here in Kraaifontein at the moment.
Kraaifontein. Now, we get these kinds of things. And guys, if you want to watch this without interruption, as you should, go and watch it. Again, the link is in the description. You know me, I take very, very long to look at stuff. I'm pausing every 3 seconds. Just deal with it. And also I'm going to be diagramming on the side. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to put stuff. Because I have notes I'm not just reacting here, okay? We decided this about our channel. Okay. So yeah, burning stuff. We like burning tires. You see there's burning tires. Let me just check if I've got my settings on. Yeah. Basically the same. That's it. We burn tires. And I say I've never burnt a tire. But yeah, this is protest action, this one. What happens? And she's talking about Kraaifontein, I wonder. K-Fontaine is what we have in the subtitles. So that's it.
Hordes and hordes of angry protesters.
Look at that. Okay, angry protesters. Right. So this is rioting. Protesters. Like we've been talking about in America. We've been talking about the and I say in America as if I'm there, but with Americans, we talk about what riots look like and the LA riots and things like that. Well, what do you think this is? Is this a protest or a riot, guys? I'm heading to bed, so I'll use you as my ASMR. I will try not to yell.
Of course, legislation with regards to land.
If you need any translation, ask me and Wade. Or Theo, or June. South African, we can understand. Apparently, people could not understand Wade's accent over on Wick's channel. Brrr, pa. Okay.
Illegal land occupations have been ongoing in areas.
Illegal land occupations. So we're literally squatting. Okay. I've been in all the recent LA protests, not really riots. That's fiction. Okay. What are they like? They're protests. They're just a gathering of people. And the fiery stuff. What is that stuff? Is that just people being dicks? People taking advantage of the protest.
Such as Kraaifontein, and of course we understand that there's been some.
See with the freaking burning tires. Okay, and it's a racetrack, so there's lots of tires to burn.
That has taken place inside the premises of the raceway as well.
Look at that. That is a lot of people, guys. Okay, so I'm actually gonna because what we've done with a diagram previously for video essays, right, is that we do a timeline of it to see how this story is told to us. And how an argument is presented to us. So I'm thinking rather than just a mind map, I'm going to make a timeline. Maybe I should. I might have to switch over to OBS. But maybe when we get to the title at least, maybe then I'll switch over to OBS. Let's get something done. But either way, I'm going to start creating a timeline here for this thing, just to have literally, I just want, usually what I'm doing with a diagram, I literally just want to make a visual representation. And yes, I know this is a visual medium, so why would I need a visual representation? I want a visual representation of the information that's brought to me. I don't think many people are here for that in any case, but that's what I do. So hang around for it if you please. Okay, let's do a timeline. Okay, I've got a timeline. And I'm just going to say, I keep thinking it's stolen land, but it's stolen ground. I think maybe that's just my Americanism. We stand on stolen land. Okay, the neurosis makes it interesting. Okay, so stolen ground. We've just got scenes of the land grab, and I will even say. Whoopsie. Grab. I'm going to put keywords, just protests. Protest action. And they do, the reporters are saying illegal land occupation. Okay. They're taking down the structures. We're not even sitting inside the structures. We're not going to squat inside. We're taking it down. We're damaging it. Look at this. It's systematic. Like, this is what freaked me the fuck out. So I'm like, you hear about it, right? But seeing it is what makes this brilliant. Just something like this, just seeing it, how it actually, just drone footage of it is like, no, guys, this actually fucking happened. This is thousands of people, not maybe 1,000, it's 1,200 or to 2,000. There's still a lot of people collectively coming together to do all of this. What year is this? This was, it'll tell you it was 2022, I think, or 2020. It tells you it was during COVID is part of it. This is not like the first land grab. It's just a particular one that he has investigated, and you'll see Emilio now. He'll speak. Joe Emilio. Oh, also he's South African, but he has like an American kind of accent. It's really funny. Informal settlements look like that. Ew. Okay, I said I'd go to the credits before I went into OBS. Did they at least have masks on? And were their shoes closed? Wait. Were they closed shoes? Because otherwise... So the main thing that you need to look out for here, which that struck me when I just started watching this, was like, how the fuck do we start this? How does this happen? Who puts this together? Because it really absolutely needs to be organized. It's not just, like when a mob gets together, you're going to get a riot and you're going to get fires. You don't need to organize too much about that. It's fine. Somebody's going to figure out where the matches are. Somebody's going to Molotov. Somebody's going to figure that out. Yeah, there are people that instigate and they become catalysts, like they deliver supplies for the rioters and things like that. But I can believe in a riot that just freaking explodes by itself because of mob mentality. But this sort of stuff is like people are transported there. It's an operation, and this is investigating it again. I can't sell it enough without just showing it to you. Let me just get to my here we go, the stolen ground. Let me just, I can put a song on in the background. The US has damaged so many other countries with the COVID policies. That wasn't the US, boys. That was just us. That was just South Africa. The US gave us some masks or something. Cyril said so. Let me just check something here. I don't know if my OBS is going to make fun of my camera. Let me just stop. I don't know what I meant by make fun of, but we're just going to have to deal. YouTube, webcam, turn that off. Let me add a webcam. On the fly. This is a great production. Everybody knows it. Wait with bated breath. Video capture device. S24. Come to me. Show me. Be there. Properties. Deactivate. Activate. Ugh, I'm trying to get it to forget me. OBS virtual camera. Okay. I might have to reload. Some FSA COVID policies made US policies look sane. Yeah. My favorite one was cigarettes. We're going to just ban cigarettes. Just all cigarettes. That's just a thing we're going to do because it's a upper respiratory, what's the name? Oh, it's got filter on. Jeez. An upper respiratory disease. So anything that involves your respiration, i.e. smoking, that we need to stop that. It'll help. Okay. Sorry, we're just reconfiguring. I'm using a new webcam, guys. So if you're wondering why the scuff is enhanced, that's why. Do that. No? Sorry. There we go. What was your wackiest one, would you say? Americans or anyone, no matter where you were, everybody had policies. What was your wackiest policy? Okay, so I know we've got a couple South Africans in there. Mine was the open toe shoes. And I guess because it's like you couldn't buy open toe shoes. They closed that off at the supermarket. You couldn't buy them because the COVID's going to get on your toes. So that was the funniest one. What was yours? Yeah, no open toe shoes or fried chicken. The fried chicken, yes, you couldn't get fried chicken from the supermarket. Good fun times. I just don't get it. Okay, let's see if it lets me use my virtual camera. Oh, good times. Yes. Hi, guys. If there is a delay, it's because I'm using 2 times virtual cameras. So just let me know. I'll change it back to the old webcam if you want. But that means you have to wait for that. Imagine sitting in the smoke of a common fire for millions of years. No, then you can't. I was so happy when cigarettes were banned from clubs in California. Okay, so they banned them in clubs in California? Okay, campfire smoke is really unhealthy too, but I still camp with a campfire. Did they ban? I don't think they banned campfires. I never wore a mask, but being a biker, I never took my helmet off. That was great. Okay. Bikers, yay, my husband's a biker. Okay. Let's get the presented window over here. So we're good. We're doing it old school. Let me know if the camera particularly bugs you guys, okay? But let me know in several images. Am I going to get a migraine? Guys, check on me, okay? Yeah, just let me know if you're pissed off, just in several messages so I can pick it up. Okay. Let us play. Okay, this got to go here. Anyway, you're going to see a lot of just me saying the same thing because I'm just flabbergasted by this fucking this story. Okay, okay.
If you've lived in Cape Town long enough, you've probably heard of Tygerberg Raceway.
I've heard of Tygerberg, just not Tygerberg Raceway. Is anyone a Cape Townian here? Oh, I missed Membies. I never wore them. Yeah, anyway. So I don't particularly know Tygerberg Raceway because, yeah, Joe Burger. Okay, I think I've been to Cape Town maybe 3 times. Maybe.
It wasn't just a motorsport track. It was a home, a community, and for many, a lifestyle. But in July 2020, that all...
So 2020, guys, it was July 2020. But the thing is, this is still a problem, okay? So you're like, oh, okay, cool, we're looking at a 2020 story. No. It's still a problem now. So this is when it happened. But yeah, I came from the City of Gold as well. Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Changed when land invaders swarmed the track and leveled it to the ground.
Jesus. Look at that. I used to live close to the track and dealt with a lot of the races. Oh, really? That's cool. When this was happening, were you exposed in any way? What were the races going through? Jeez. Hey, Tomby. Okay, so we've got scenes of the land grab, and then I'm just going to go and put here on the diagram. Which month was it? Sorry.
That all changed when land...
July 2020. Land grabs. Okay, we got our timeline sort of thing going.
Invaders swarmed the track and leveled it to the ground in just a few days.
In just a few days, though. Like, okay, so it's destroyed. Within a few days. Imagine your life's work. Just, cheers, Oaks. No, I left the city cuck a few years back before that. Oh, okay.
This documentary sets out to uncover how something like this could happen. Not...
Yeah, that is the main question. When you see that, you're like, how could this happen? The fact that it happened, it still has me reeling, okay?
Just here, but
so that's Joe Emilio.
Across South Africa. Who's enabling it? Who's profiting? And why does the
main question. So let's keep that the questions that this documentary is asking. Okay. Questions for the documentary. We've got who's enabling it, who's profiting, and why.
The law seem powerless to stop it.
Why does the law seem powerless? It seems like that's all by design, boys. The law is designed to be powerless. So the answer to this question basically just it revolves around who's profiting. Like all of the answers relate to each other. If we're going to cover redistricting based on dong size, no.
Understand this story, we start from the beginning with the man who built it all, Chris Liebenberg, the former owner of the Tygerberg Raceway.
Okay, so he's going to talk at length about, he's the former owner of the Tygerberg Raceway, so I'm going to put him as like, he's got a chapter here. I don't believe there are chapters on the documentary yet. What's his name? Sorry.
The man who built it all, Chris Liebenberg.
Hey, now. Why does it do that? Chris Liebenberg, former owner. Racetrack. Okay.
The former owner of the Tygerberg Raceway.
Raceway, sorry. Let's use the right words. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of Afrikaans. So I'm actually going to mute it and just read the... let you listen to the Afrikaans for like a few seconds. But Liebenberg, sorry. Liebenberg, oh, there we go. I was the owner of Tygerberg Raceway. Sorry, let me take off the...
Chris Liebenberg. I was the owner of Tygerberg Raceway. Dis 'n baie lang storie en eintlik 'n baie tragiese storie.
So that's what real Afrikaans sounds like. When I try and sound like it, yeah, I've got a lot of English in me. I sound like an English person speaking Afrikaans.
Die 25ste
25ste is 25th, okay? But don't worry, I'll turn the audio off now and you go. We'll just read it. I think it was the 25th of July. We were still practicing on the track, and while we were practicing, okay, so let's go. July 25th. He thinks. Where was I, July? I was married. Yeah, we were all at home, I suppose. But they were practicing, okay. They heard a commotion. They got into the car. Oh, sorry. Let's put the... Sorry, I forgot about the background music, but there's quite a lot of music going on in this thing. But if we're going to just put it muted for the Afrikaans part, might as well put our background music on. Oh no, I can't use the background music because what's the name? Because I don't have my virtual audio cable, so I'll have to put this over here. It's kind of racy music. I'll have to upload Creamage's songs here. Okay. We heard commotion outside the track. He got into his car, drove out of the track, and we were sitting on the infield on the track. And we did the practice with all the cars inside the track. Cool. So they're doing practice. They're just business as usual. Okay. When I got outside, I saw there was an open piece of field on the side of the track. Okay, well, he knows that. Oh, so there was they were putting up shacks. So then I saw they were busy erecting shacks. So they come in, they put up structures, they know. So the thing is, they know that this is all according to the law. That's what you'll find out. They come in, they put up their structures, therefore they are squatting and they somehow suddenly have rights. What is this? Die popkoning. This is watching Joe Emilio's land grab documentary, but in very high detail. So if you really want to watch it, just go and watch it normally, and this is your in-depth analysis afterwards, where you can comment on what you think about it. They were making a noise hitting the corrugated sheets. Yeah, that's fun. I didn't pay too much attention to it because it happened many times, and then law enforcement. Okay, so it had already happened. So this erecting shacks. People erecting shacks had already happened. Law enforcement and intervene, I suppose. I did watch it, and it sucked ass. What happened? What do you mean it sucked ass as in the actual issue sucked ass? Or what do you mean by it sucked ass? Because it happened to many times, and law enforcement comes. Okay. So the weekend after.
Toe bel my manager of my toesighouer vir my daar.
Okay, so are we using AI for the pictures? I was just listening to him. Test run already executed, future not caught foreseen. Is that what this song says to you?
Van die baan sê ek moet kom. Hier's groot
You must come. There's a big problem here. Hier's groot kak. Please tell me you said groot kak.
probleem of my
No, you said groot probleem. Sucks.
vir my daar. Van die baan sê ek moet kom. Hier's groot probleme hier. Nou ja, toe ek nou deurjaag soontoe, ek toe daar kom, toe's die hele
Okay, the road was blocked off. Okay, so this not song. Oh, his words.
pad afgeblenk en dis net law enforcement mense.
Oh no, I don't like that. That doesn't make the camera cinematography work very nicely. Let's put it at 1.2.
En ons kan nie weer gaan na die plek toe nie.
It makes it a little shaky. He wanted to say kak. I would have loved it if he said kak, because he says das groot probleem, was that's a big problem instead of kak. Okay, because that's what he kom kak. You want that to be said, but I suppose he's like, okay, I'm gonna be off op die TV. So I'm gonna.
Maar ek gaan deur, ek is my property daar. Ek moet die plek gaan beskerm. Toe's die mense al besig om die
Okay, so he wants to protect his property. They were pushing down so they were pushing down the fencing. Okay, obviously this is AR, whatever. They hadn't burnt things yet, so it's like okay, we don't have pictures of this, so it's just an illustration. Okay, but now his manager said it actually is a big deal, pushing down fences. So that is vandalism, right? We're getting vandalism here, but okay, fine, just fun. Yeah, he 100% said he had a cock when he phoned the cops. Absolutely.
Tygerberg fencing. Wat om die plek.
Oh, Vibric. Is that what that's called? I didn't know. It's those concrete fences. Okay.
Te begin 'n plaas toe. Ja, ek af van die saak nou nie 'n verskriklike bang.
Oh yeah, he's not verschrikkelijk. He's not a scary man. He's not a bang man. So he went there.
Ja, ek tot daar by hulle maar hordes.
He rushed through to them. And he does say swart mense. Listen to his pause here when he says swart mense. Listen.
Dis swart mense.
Swart mense. Okay. They're people, but this is an Afrikaner in South Africa. I suppose you're just going to do that. But who gives a shit about respecting the people that are invading your fucking land? Okay, I guess you're not going to. The word is criminal, not vandal. Yeah, that's true. But vandalism is a crime. Okay, so we've got... Is this the same weekend? Look at this, the fires. The smoke.
Ek praat seker van 1500 na 2000 toe maklik. En
what do? That's an army, okay? That's what we had when back in the day, okay? That's how we fought each other. And you have 1000 to 1,500 to 2,000 people facing you down and pushing your fences and just causing all kinds of chaos on your property. Okay, these are things I suppose you can take and fact check if you want.
Toe gaan vra ek hulle, maar hoekom breek hulle die plek af? Hoekom
Who can break the plek? I get so excited when I understand Afrikaans. Okay, they break the why they're breaking the place down.
wat is hier in die gang? En toe bel ek die polisie. Brigadier Gerda van Niekerk. Haai
Gerda! Okay, so then he's like, okay, wait, why are they doing this? So then he called the police. Okay, so it's like we had several shacks before and it was fine, we would deal with it. But then we call the police. Okay. I called police. Polisie! Hy het die polisie gebel. Called the police. South African government does something shady, then they gaslight other countries when they inquire about this. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
heel eerste woord en toe bel ek die polisie.
Invest in us. Invest in us. Property rights are totally a thing here. Invest in us. Your stuff won't get invaded. It's fine.
Brigadier Gerda van Niekerk.
Brigadier Gerda van Niekerk. Okay. Her first words to me is that I should report to the city.
Haar heel eerste woorde aan my was ek moet die city aankla. Haar heel
Okay, so we've got the city of Cape Town. It's a institution, a collective. So actually, she says report the city, because we got city of Cape Town, city of Joburg. That's the municipality thing. She didn't ask me anything else. I still wanted to ask her what's going on.
eerste woorde. Sy het niks enigiets verder mee gevra nie. Ek wou nog vra Gerda, wat gaan aan?
No, this is a land invasion. Well, I guess what else is she gonna say to you?
Toe sê sy vir my, maar ek moet die city dagvaar. Toe vra ek hoekom?
Said to me that I must sue. She said that I must sue the city. Okay. She says report to the city and sue the city. Okay, cool. Why?
Toe sê sy, hoe dit blikbaar werk is die law enforcement kom om mense te verwyder of plakkershuise te verwyder, dan moet die polisie beskerming gee. En hulle
Okay. So yes, the people come, they invade your land, and then you need protection. Okay. From the law enforcement, right? But now you're telling me I need to sue. So
het vir law enforcement gesê.
and they say to the law
Hulle kan dit nie doen,
enforcement,
hy dag, jy
they
weet.
can't do it that day because she doesn't have protection for them, so they can't come. Okay. Oh, so she's already saying to him, I'm reading the subtitles and I'm saying the Afrikaans every now and then. So they can't do it that day because they don't have protection for them, so they can't come. So it's like immediately. So it's like, okay, you know what? The next step, because we're not going to come there today. Just sue us. Just sue the city because we can't go there today. What? Okay, so the way it works is ask the city can't provide police protection today, on the day. So they can't come.
Want sy het nie vir hulle beskerming, so hulle kan nie kom nie.
Okay.
So daar was die beskerming
It wasn't beskermings, protection for law enforcement. So that's so what happened is
law enforcement. So wat gebeur het is, law enforcement het toe ingebeweeg. En
law enforcement moved in and started breaking down the houses. Okay, but then they did go. I don't understand. Oh, they can't move the people out, so that they can't move the people out.
die huise afbreek wat hulle normaalweg doen.
Okay.
Die verskil is daar was die
What they normally do, because that's what we do. It's normal, guys. It's normal. We just get people. They come. They put shacks on your land, and then you just get them taken away by the law enforcement. That's just it's normal. We do that. Okay. And the only difference is that there wasn't police protection. Okay. Yes, usually they would come out. He's maybe he's making this story a bit longer than it needs to be, because the city can't have protection on that day. They're supposed to, and then We had something like that happening near where I live. They were putting their shacks on the Transnet land. Oh, yeah. And then what? Then it's like, oh, then you're forcefully removing them, and then there's protest because you're violating human rights or some shit.
Beskerming. Want law enforcement break
Because law enforcement breaks down. They are not the protection unit. They're the ones that break down. Okay. So there is in the Suda City, so a law enforcement, right, does functions in this case. 1, breakdown of structures, and 2, protection. I would assume that's removal. That's a unit on the screen, yeah. So this protection they couldn't be provided at that time. Usually to be provided. Okay. The crazy part is they put a road going onto the highway like their own intersection. Just onto the highway. That's fine. We just build a road. It's fine. Everybody will notice we're cars. It's fine.
So toe daai mense nou begin aanval. Dis hulle te swak, law enforcement.
So people attacked, by the way. Oh, just by the way. So when these people attacked because they did, law enforcement yeeted itself out.
Trek law enforcement. Nou ja, wat is die eerste teken? Die eerste teken is
So what's the first target? The first target is my place. So that's what they're doing.
nou my plek. Hoe teken die community of die mense nou daarmee
Oh, what? There's people that live on the property as well. It's not just him sitting there. So they just go and it's not even taking occupation of the buildings that are there. You're destroying them.
my perseel. En hulle begin breek my perseel af. Bekend is met
Breaking down. So okay. So anyway, they couldn't be there at the time. Usually would sort it out, but got chased off basically, but withdrew after attack. Okay, so this guy's and also complaining about the government. So this guy's borrowing government resources and also complaining about the government resources. Okay, he's expecting the government to do the government's job, and he's complaining because the government's not doing its job. Because there's when you call the police and you say, hey, there's criminal activity here. It is the government's responsibility to enforce the law. I can't have my private security company enforcing the law. I have to now because it's South Africa, but geez, that's part of the government's its role.
met daai swart areas en die plakkerskampe en goed.
I don't know how familiar you are with the black areas and the squatter camps. So that's just a normal way of speaking. These Afrikaans kind of people. I'm very familiar with them.
Maar hierdie gangster type leaders.
Gangsters. So you've got tsotsis. You've got gangsters. Yes, fine. Now people will just be like, but he called them black people and whatever. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that now suddenly it's okay to go and invade another person's property. That's not how this works. Or it's not how it should work. So he talks about gangsters. Okay. Oh, yeah. You mean in South Africa where there's like 30% unemployment and 60% youth unemployment? There's gangsters? Yeah, that's what we do.
And community leaders and all that type of people there. So I must get them involved to help.
Save the place for me. Okay, so that's the same sort. You kind of have that. You can. I was watching another documentary somebody was tried to make about the taxi. The taxi bosses? So they're basically organizations that have a lot of power because they basically control the workforce of the country because our other public transport is absolutely shit. And if we tried to develop any other public transport, I don't think the taxis would be happy anyway. So they are both gangsters and authorities in the community. So he's got to consult with gangsters and community leaders, he's got to use them in, I suppose, from the informal settlements. He's got to engage with them. That was also a cool video. Do you see that one? It's the one with he speaks to the what's the name, the taxi bosses, and the way that people are disrespecting even the taxi bosses now. 70% youth unemployment, 90% unemployable. Uber is kind of making inroads. I don't know. People are scared of using Uber. Okay, so union control. Oh, gangsters, yeah. Gangsters / community leaders. This is where I would put just my thing. Like, you mean taxi bosses? You could, I suppose, go to that. My sister's neighbor got assassinated because he got a construction tender. Oh, this comes. No, Bore, have you watched the documentary? Because this sort of thing comes in. There is this explanation of the construction mafia, that sort of thing. Okay, so gangsters, community leaders, does he mean tax bosses? Anyway, they've got to sort it out for him. Can help help Chris apparently. Communie Uber voor in die kar. Communie.
Save the place for me. So ja, ek het daai week vir hulle ingeroep. Hulle die week, it cost me a lot of money.
Okay, so he called them in that week. So he basically did a bit of a, yeah, he paid for private security, as in it's not the government.
I think about 200,000 rand for the week.
Jeez. Okay, so he asked for some gangsters, 200,000 rand for a week of protection. So we've identified someone that benefits from this sort of thing is the gangsters. Big whoop, big surprise. Gangsters. What's the name? They are benefiting from this situation occurring at all. So we got to keep an eye on them. Let's put a different kind of border on it. How much is 200,000 K? So let me go 200,000 rand in dollars. Why not just tell me? It's about $11,300. But listen, that's a lot of money. Yeah, if anyone has that, let me put that here. Gangsters cause and solve crime, yeah. For a week of protection, okay. So that's per week, okay. That you weren't spending before, absolutely not. And I don't know, man. I feel like the gangsters aren't going to keep their prices chill for per week. You know, it's no, you know what? Maybe we need to increase our prices because there was this that happened, and because yeah. It's not really about keeping this client relationship going.
For security of that week. But you can't stop them. You can't. Who stop you 1,000, 2,000 mensen?
Yeah, are you going to... okay, so you get that protection for that week, but how are a bunch of gangsters going to stop 1,000 or 2,000 people? It took like a week to take over the track. Well, they're saying like within days it was completely gone. But I mean... point is, you get that many people, and apparently they kept coming back in waves. So a week of protection, but it's still too many people.
Ja. So dit was 'n helse storie geweest. Op een van die dag het ons dan vier van ons mense wat betrokke was, hulle voertuie daar gekry om mee te help. En dis toe 'n geskietery en ek bedoel
wow, there was shooting and gangster shots, so there's shootouts. Don't worry, we got shootouts. Good times. So you're actually shooting to trial, and then people would start saying, well, this is inhumane. Why are you shooting people to get off your property? And hello, isn't this illegal? Wouldn't the actual law enforcement not be happy with you shooting them? Because South African laws the whole stand your ground law is not a thing in South Africa. So you are actually, he's just saying he was involved in illegal shootouts, I suppose, if you want to call them that.
Gangsters skiet en ons skiet om te keer. Ek moet my property beskerm.
So he was shooting to shootouts to protect the property. So that's wow. It should be a thing, yes, but it's not. So that is illegal. He has had to resort. He's resorting to illegal action. Illegal means obviously the taxi bosses and all of that. That's also another thing. We used to get gangster escorts to fetch stolen cars from Kaalisha. Wow. So what? Like we found the car, so we just get a gangster. Oh, you know what? They're making a racket. They're doing a racket. That's it. Okay. He probably means like towards the air, right? Warning shots. Yeah, nobody got hurt. Come on. But also I'm reminded Western Cape is too different from the rest of us. It is. It's like a completely different land. Like it's weird. But then again, Joburg is also freaking violent. So I don't know.
Polisie is daar nie. Die law enforcement onttrek.
The police aren't there. The law enforcement has withdrawn.
So, dit was amper soos cowboy en kroeg net sonder
And the cowboys and crooks. Oh, I love the way he says it. Amper soos cowboys and crooks. Just have a nice listen to this beautiful Afrikaans.
perde, property beskerm. Die polisie is daar nie. Die law enforcement onttrek. So, dit was amper soos cowboy en kroeg net sonder perde. Langs
Niet zonder paarden, just without horses. Okay. Joburg is becoming like Durban. Oh no, man. It's just dirty. I mean, it's always been dirty. Life and property is more separate in South African law than in American law, for example. This comes down to property rights at all. Like you just don't have it. Okay, so yeah, shoots out the property. Obviously, no law enforcement.
storie kort te maak. Dit was hewige aanvalle geweest. Regtig.
Yeah, bro's alive. Well done.
Jy praat van maklik 1500
People storming on you.
2000 mense wat op jou afstorm. Ek bedoel as ek in die voertuie was, het ons dood
If we weren't in the vehicles, they would have killed us. Okay, that's cool.
gemaak. En die ding het 'n bietjie ons hom so 'n bietjie gekalmeer. Die polisie het seker so na
Okay, yay! The police came 3 or 4 hours later. Okay, police arrival. Okay. My husband had several break-ins at his parents' house. We had in our complex area, not our particular house, touch wood, my parents' house. We didn't have where we lived in our apartments, so we were good. But yeah, you still have, you put gates on your apartments and things like that. Whoa! I was robbed in my house 3 weeks ago. Sorry, Wade. It's a struggle. Oh, Jesus. And then what we say to each other as South Africans is, yes, at least you're okay. Thank goodness you're okay. Like, yeah, but no, that's fucking crazy. We had in the past, but it's been quiet for a long ass time now. They're just recharging, waiting for you to get more stuff. Like seriously, I think my husband's parents' house was hit like 3 times over. And then which just most people in the neighborhood just got hit. Okay, so 3 or 4 hours later to support
ek
us.
skat so na 3-4 ure dat hulle daar aangekom en vir ons begin ondersteuning gee. So die dinge toe redelik gekalmeer.
Oh, it calmed down, guys. I love that it says it calmed down, and look at this picture. But the whole week this carried on. Every day they kept coming back, breaking this down, breaking that down. The guy that actually broke in was dumb enough to leave fingerprints, so he was caught. Wow, that's incredible. They never caught anyone that broke in anywhere, as far as I know. They never did any of that. We had in the past year. So wow, that's pretty amazing, Noble. Sounds like you guys need rooftop Koreans. You got rooftop courses. Clearly. This was like 12 years ago though, so it wouldn't happen now. Absolutely not. When I was young, A young man won a Coca-Cola bicycle. Same day they started. Oh, no, man. Yep. You can't have nice things, and you really cannot have them. That's it. They're gone. Nobody must know about your Coca-Cola bicycle. Go and paint it shit. Just make it look rusty. Maybe nobody will touch it then. Last month, geez, guys, all the South Africans in chat. Last month, a guy was beaten to death for assaulting a kid around the corner from my house. Fine. By the time the cops got here, his house was demolished and redistributed. Yeah, they don't. Otherwise, you're not going to get a day in court. So what else do people do? The South African humor in this chat. We drive, boys. We drive, but we can drink us. Be poor or become poor. Yeah. Yeah. Just pretend poor. And then maybe you'll be left alone. Yeah, geez. So the mob justice is real. I hope there was sufficient evidence, but if you're assaulting a kid, oh well. Oh no, the child assaulter is dead, horrifically. Anyway, but you can't let your society continue that way. There was another gunfight in the same spot. Just keep traditions going. Fuck's sake. Okay, so police arrival 4 hours. That's not bad. Okay. So they carried on whole week. Continued vandalism all week long. Just breaking shit down. South Africa made me humble. It makes you just expect shit. Define humble there. You know your stuff is it's just stuff. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh, mamma mia.
Heel week dat die ding maar aangegaan. Elke dag kom hulle terug. Elke dag kom hulle terug. Kom breek hulle nog dit af. Hulle kom breek dat af.
They kept coming back, breaking this down, breaking that.
Ek bedoel albei voertuie wat jy hier sien.
Oh, yeah, of course they're going to take the cars.
Daar gestaan. Plus al my implemente, my trekkers, my waterlorries, my padskrappers. Alles wat om 'n hele reistrek te behartig.
Okay, so that's a lot. Okay, so we're not just breaking down your buildings, right? So breaking down buildings. Taking cars. Did Mark nie saak nie? Yeah. taking cars. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. Okay, taking cars, taking tractors. I think they burnt the tractors. Everything around the racetrack of value was there.
Was daar. En die mense is besig.
They burnt it. So taking/burning cars. We just burn your shit. You can't have it. Burn it. Wow. Well, depressing 5:30 in the morning, and I have to be curious. Where is the fight? Where is you die from this for transgression? Well, it depends on your fight. I mean, on your transgression. The guy that died because he assaulted a kid, he got beaten to death before the police got there. Here, the numbers there's no fight because of the numbers. It's just you cannot. They tried.
Te brand. Hulle het eers my waterlorries afgebrand, een van die trekkers afgebrand, al my quadbikes wat daar was is
Oh,
afgebrand.
quad bikes, so they burnt them. What? Yes.
VIP losies, community halls, gone. Toilets, gone.
They just destroyed the whole fucking place.
Intussen kom ons deur die week dan die movable goed.
We would go and fetch anything that was movable. So you had to just to try and recover, I suppose. Moved into recovery. Movable. So nothing is safe. Good morning. Good morning, Atheist Gamer. We're having a good time. If you're scared of numbers, it's over. But you can't, because you can't go and mow them down. That's the thing. You can't do that. It'll be a massacre and you will be a killer. So they know that. And you will hear the other tactics that they use, including putting women and children in the way.
Goed, verwijderen. Maar die volgende zaterdag was die plek zo gelijk zoals hierdie grond. The complete racetrack is gone in a week. Everything.
To the ground. So the thing is, one of the first reactions you get to this documentary as well is, we need to do this to a politician. Like, let's see how they like it, because the laws make this possible, guys. It's not just the fact that these people are doing this. The laws make it actually quite easy to continue with this. That is Barmy who made you a member, Atheist. Everything to the ground. So what we're talking about is, the topic of discussion is land grabs in South Africa. What happens is groups of people go and just take your land. They squat on your land. But it seems like they destroy things as well. They're not just there to live their life. Yes, Wade, come and vote for the ANC. There's a lot of poor black people coming down from poorer African countries to the north. Can they vote? Pap Konen? You now worship Barmy. I have dissolved your atheism. I welcome you, acolytes.
To the ground. I lost about 60 million rand there. To build the...
Okay. He lost about 60 million rand, but the thing is, you know the exact thought when you hear 60 million rand. You're like, oh, you're not supposed to have that 60 million rand. You stole that 60 million rand. 60? That's 3 million. Basically, $3,390,000. I will find the issues with this new belief. Okay, so we've got here this all in all 60. Oh, 6.
The place like everything to the ground. I lost about
60 million rand. Lost. Yeah. He did that for a whole. I mean, it's not like it was just there. He had built this up.
million rand there. To build a place like that, to build a racetrack with all the facilities. That was a farm. It was an open farmland when we get there in 1994.
Okay, so it was an open farm in 1994. Okay. Open farmland. Okay. Everything that stands there is not from the city.
Everything what stands there is not coming from the city.
Okay, so he built it. All upgrades from Chris. Okay.
Coming out of our pockets. The spinning community come to me.
Okay, so this is now, I guess it's another part that he goes on to talk about is the spinning community. Now, this is a kind of racing in South Africa that's done. You spin your car. That's what it says on the box. I don't know if it's even racing. It's like who can do it properly, who can do it best. I don't know. I've never been into it. But yeah, the gangsters would do this with their cars. This is they're taking the land away from anyone who has it, and they're eroding property rights, Carissa. If you look at the actual laws that are involved, it's quite shocking. And if I let us get there, we will get there. So yeah, style points. Okay, so you get style points for it. It's like a gymnastics with cars, and they do it illegally, as in like they're all over they're spinning around and wheel spinning and shit in town. But they have no place to go. So he actually, he's now just talking about the value of the raceway, because now this became a place where they could do spinnies or whatever they call. So the importance, the function, raceway, spinning. Okay.
They spin illegal all over Cape Town because there was no legal ground for them to do. And I said to them, all right, let's see what we can do. So I built a spinning piece. It cost me about 5 million rand.
Wow, spinning piece. 5 million rand worth project. Cool. White people be like, let's watch cars drive around in a circle. Well, this is just smaller points. No, not even white people, just any people. They're just, let's look at cars spinning in a smaller circle.
1 year, it's gone. So it was the only legal spinning pitch in Cape Town, and the best. I put up the biggest show ever in Cape Town of spinning in that place. They will come and tell you what I do for the sport.
Okay, Trump. People will tell you that they did it. He made great shows for spinning. I don't know. I can't confirm this. This is what he is saying. I don't know. Maybe 1 of 40 will tell me about that. SA spinning is nuts. Also happens to be the biggest culprit with stolen BMWs. They have to be those kinds of BMWs. Yeah. Don't you get dizzy though? I'm sure they do. And there's also just the whole idea of maybe, I don't know, getting hit by a car.
Ever in Cape Town of spinning in that place. They will come and tell you.
That BMW there, that's the one you're always gonna, that model or whatever is the one that you see with spinning.
In that place. They will come and tell you what I do for the sport. They also phone me every day. Please, Mr. Chris, come, build us a proper, because they're spinning piece young Kilani, but they don't want it. It's not what they want. So to build this racetrack, to replace that, it will cost you 70, 80 million. That's the sum you make.
What? So to replace the whole thing would be 70 million. 70 million. Okay, now he's gone 70, 80. The point is, I don't actually care. It could have been 1 million rands worth. Or 20,000 rands worth of property. The point is, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that because that's illegal. It's not yours. You're vandalizing. You're breaking down. You're destroying somebody else's property. This is not hard.
But myself, I lost about 60 million. But it says in the agreement, in the contract.
Okay, so this is something that actually seems to be wrong. He says that in the contract.
They must pay me back. When the lease is gone, and they want me to move out there, they must pay me back every cent I put in there. I go.
Okay, so he says that in his contract, this is a key point, that in his contract, in the lease, once it's, so he's leasing it from the government, the land from the government. Once its lease is over, they pay him back all the investment he's put into it. Okay, this is according to him. I'm gonna make this like a quite a thick bordered thing, because later on we do get something. Uphold government contract that did not uphold law. Yeah, that's true. I suppose you're right, Barmy. It's it doesn't really work. Hey, did you guys hear that, by the way? I'm hoping you did, but I could hear it. Oh, we're in OBS, so you should be able to hear it. No, you won't be able to hear it. I hear it. Never mind. Whatever. It went. Okay. So he in the lease, one lease is over. They pay once the. I don't know how normal that is. Like, okay, if we make an upgrade to our apartment, we have first of all have to do it with permission of the landlord, and I don't know whether the landlord pays us back for that. You have to see the government betraying you. Yeah? See it? Okay.
Go afterwards, and because we need another place. And the city makes me a lot of promises.
Okay, so he says the city made him promises. That's JP Smith. Okay, we've got some names here. I'm going to put the names in a circle. And also bold them up quite big and strong. Not that. Take that away. There we go. Bold. JP Smith.
Like JP Smith? if he wants to go back to his stuff that he said on the radio and on the TV, he said they must give me my stuff back and they must help me and all that shit.
He said, and all that shit. There you go. There's a guy coming out of the real guy's thing. He said they must give my stuff back and must help me and all that shit. He said this on radio, okay? They will help. Okay, apparently.
But nothing happens. Some of the DA councillors, I think, comes to me. I think that was just to keep me quiet from the media. And
Okay, so he goes and just talks about DA councillors. Can't really... What do the councillors do?
when the councillors, I think, comes to me, I think that was just to keep me quiet from the media. And when the dust is gone, nothing happens. It's not.
5 years. So yeah, that's the point why this is an important documentary. It's 5 years since this happened. There's been no repercussion, whatever. And the point is, it's not the only occurrence. This is just one that he is investigating.
Now 5 years. So they come and they get me in the cars and drive me all along Cape Town to show me where's another ground to build racetracks and all.
So they're showing him where he can go, alternative. Showing alternative land. No, boys. This was my land and it got fucked up. Do they need more fences? Oh, they broke down the fences. That's how it went. They broke down the fences. They break them down. They put up shacks. They burn down the buildings themselves, and they burn all the property that's on there. The invaders don't have a way to contribute to the economy. It is a failure of government. They were not starving. Oh, I don't know. They weren't even there. You'll see that they don't even live in that place. A lot of the time, they set up things to look like they're living in there. This is just in the beginning. They do that to get in the way of the law, and then I suppose they go and move in and actually live there. So they're taking him. I don't know how I would feel if you take. So my house has been invaded, and I'll call it just my house. So like say my apartment's been invaded, and I've lost all of my furniture inside it. Okay, because everything's burnt in there. Everything I had in the apartment. It's all gone. But you know what? Yeah, here's another apartment. And you know what? You can fill it with. You can also go and build. You can fill it with with more furniture. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for it. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay again for the furniture, but it's new furniture. But here's new. It's a new place for you to do it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I don't know. I would find that mind blowing. Be like, so I'm supposed to be happy about this. This is a solution, you're telling me. Must I just swallow this? That, okay, cool, I'm just going to go and I'll just restart elsewhere. I'm going to forget that this whole thing happened and could happen again. And I'm going to start up here on my alternative land that you've said that this is great. You can go and you can use this land. Sweet.
But 5 years later, where's it? Where's the promises? The land was marked for housing, and they can't.
Okay, so he said the land was marked for housing. So I'm confused as to when his lease was finished and whether this happened because his lease finished. And they were going to renew it or whatever, but this is how it ended for him. So apparently, okay, this is a major fact that we need to keep in mind is the raceway was earmarked for residents. And that's another promise that we've always had from the ANC is, oh, by the way, we're going to give you what do you call it? We're going to give you houses. It'll be great. You'll all have RDP houses. Just hold on. I'm just getting some different background music. Chill one. Here you go. Get this one for a sec.
Pronounce migraine, motherfucker, not migraine. What the fuck is a migraine? Please, for the love
A migraine is a South African migraine.
like Jesus.
Okay, we're good with that. No, the invaders are mainly black, poor South Africans. They're from everywhere. It's not immigrant invaders. It could be, but it doesn't really make a difference. After these invasions, they cry for jobs, not realizing they just fucked any incentive for someone to create jobs. Even those races all employed a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. There is no, why should I invest in this country where my infrastructure that I put in can just be destroyed?
Can't build there. There's no way they can build there. The water level is too high. If you
Okay, so whoa, so we've got this other point to keep in mind now. The raceway was earmarked for housing, right? But they can't build there because of the watermark. The water. Oh, this is now reminding me. Yes, they actually were flooded at some point. Was it this one? So earmarked for housing, waterline is too high for it to be used for housing. So they actually can't build there. Okay.
dig less than half a meter, you're in the water. The water was running over the track. So the city knows very well. I make a lot of stuff away from the city they didn't even know. Because most people in the city sit
And the officers, they won't know what's going on in the
in
ground.
the offices. They don't know what's going in the ground. So they come there and I show them everything. I spent millions of rands in that racetrack just to get the water away. I take the whole old racetrack.
Okay, so he made sure that the water, so he dealt with the water on Raceway. Cool, fine. So this earmarked stuff for housing is not even good for the people. Cool.
Track away, put draining pipes in around the track to the outside, to the road outside, municipality water drains. So yeah, I spent a lot of money there to make it really the best racetrack in South Africa.
Best racetrack in South Africa, guys. Are they going to start occupying Kalami? Because now Kalami in Gauteng they're trying to make that a F1 racetrack again. That would be freaking cool. But you never know. Now then, in the week that followed, while you were watching everything happening and things getting worse, what went through your head and heart? Okay.
You.
This big Afrikaner man is not going to talk. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Kom ons praat hieroor. Jy weet never wat die plek wat ek verloor het. Ons ek weg van my lewe. Dit was scary. Mense besef nie wat ons deurgemaak het. Maar ek wil nie baie graag daaroor praat nie. Dit is net hartseer.
Dit is hartseer. Nobody gives a shit though, hey. We're not allowed to give a shit because he's white.
Dit is nie maklik nie. Dat ek lewe dag en nag vir reisie. Ek dink nie daar is 'n persoon in Suid-Afrika wat gedoen het vir die racing community wat ek gedoen het. Glo dit.
Okay, so he's a good guy for the racing community and whatever, but no, it's cool. He's just a rich white guy. We gotta perceive him as just a rich white guy, and he deserves this. But whether or not you think he's an asshole, the law was broken.
Kyk, daar is 'n man wat gedoen het vir racing wat ek gedoen het.
That looks lacquer. Look at us trying to be hillbillies in South Africa. This guy is Chris. What's his name? Chris Liebenberg. Yeah. He is the former former owner of the Tygerberg Raceway. Oh, look, you could do that. You can just chill in there and you have your box wine. Flippin' hell. That's nice. I wonder, okay, so all these kinds of races. No, sorry, you can't be sad. You can't be sad, there what? Don't come here with your South African flag. No, none of this hope, none of this rainbow, none of this life. A life with possibility. None of that. There is cock white people and cock black people. There's cock people everywhere. I literally live here, which is why I ask. Do you remember any of this from 2020? Cyberingin, do you live close to the racetrack? Did you ever go to the racetrack? The raceway? Look, it's not. He says it's the best racetrack in South Africa, but you know, we're not the FIA is not coming over here and asking for. FIA is not coming over here and asking for his racetrack, right? But still, go cock a rainbow. I've been to every Cape Town racetrack. Yes, used to be that in that world a bit. Oh wow. That's so cool. Did you ever see spinning? Because I never did. I actually saw, you know, no, I lie. I went to the Top Gear festival the one time, and that's when I saw spinning. Cuck is the best K word. Yes, it is. That's the only one I approve.
This is what the racetrack has become. But how did...
Sure. Okay, so it's just like, so yes, we're talking about they will talk about how it happens that there is this sort of dressing where they set up a dwelling that looks like it's been lived in, so therefore they move around the laws. But then people literally do move in on the land and make an informal settlement there. And that includes, I suppose that I don't know if this one would include illegal electricity connections, all of that never gets paid for. And when they are cut off from electricity, then they will go and burn shit. So that is why you get this thing in South Africa where it's like there's protest action on the N24, whatever. You get that, like some there's always protest action going around, and it's about service delivery. And it's like, but your services, the things that you are trying to get from the government, you're not paying for them. I'm forgetting. I think I just forgot the frustration of South Africa. Okay.
Did we get here? Why did law enforcement, the courts, the entire system fail? To find answers, I reached out to the city, specifically the Informal Settlements Department. They referred
we have a whole informal settlements department.
Me to the city's media team, who chose to respond via email.
Okay, so we've got he asked them how they got you.
The questions that I asked the Settlements Department. The entire system failed. To find answers, I reached out to the city, specifically the Informal Settlements Department. Okay.
Joe talks to informal settlements departments about the city. It's not even in Tygerberg. What? I've been in street races, Killarney open days all over, but never to Tygerberg Raceway. No. Oh, okay. So you never went. He said that Killarney had some spinning there, and they didn't want it. They wanted his spinning. So he's made a big thing about what he's done for racing in South Africa. Okay, Joe talks to Informal Settlements Department about the city. He asked them the questions.
Referred me to the city's media team, who chose to respond via email.
I love that. We just send an email. It's cool. ChatGPT, how do we respond to this? Media team, By email. Okay.
questions that I asked them was about the compensation clause in the contract that Chris was
Okay, very cool. So remember this whole thing here in the lease, it's called the compensation clause. Okay, so he asked them,
talking about. Here's what they had to say.
this is incorrect. Clause 20 specifies that no compensation shall be payable for any improvements made by the leasee. So he is saying it's directly, they've directly refuted this idea that so it's about the what do you call compensation clause is incorrect. Doesn't state that leasee gets compensated for any improvements. So that's on him. That's on him if he's not getting compensated for it. But the thing is, those improvements are on the land and they were taken away. So yes, cool. If he's wrong about this, okay. But this is still a problem. I'm still going, why did this happen? After
That is incorrect. Clause 20 specifies that no compensation shall be payable for any improvements made by the leasee. They attached a clause that boils down to this. After 20 years of tenancy,
so na die verloop van die huurtydperk van 20 jaar sal geen vergoeding hoegenaamd deur die verhuurder aan die huurder betaalbaar wees ten opsigte van enige verbeterings. You gotta love Afrikaans. Just you know what, there were verbeterings. We just did betterings of it wat deur die huurder van die eiendom aangebring is nie. So yeah, basically that boils it down. They're not going to give money for the improvements.
the landlord owes the tenant nothing for improvements. Chris
Over 20 years, right?
to control boils down to this. After 20 years of tenancy,
After 20 years. Let me just put that in after 20 years. How does that work? So after the 20 years, they don't owe you. If you stay for more than 20 years, they don't owe you. Verbeterings, want ons is bouers. Ons bou, ons verbeter.
the landlord owes the tenant nothing for improvements. Chris took control of the racetrack in 1994. By the time 2014 came around, that clause is in effect. But in
Okay, so about 2014. Okay, so in 24, so after 24 years, i.e. by 2014, he took over in 1994. Okay, so by 2014, that clause is in. So by 2014, all of the improvements he doesn't get paid out. But yeah, okay, that doesn't take away the problem that this all happened.
2016, the city reached out to Chris and started a conversation about renewing the lease. But shortly after
In 2016.
this, the city just went quiet, Chris, and started a conversation about renewing the lease. But
Yeah, this is a problem. Okay, this is one of my problems. I'm like, wait, so they were supposed to renew the lease renewal in 2016, and then they didn't renew it. They just kept quiet. Silence. So he was squatting on the land. The lease was not renewed. So he's squatting on it, isn't it? Am I missing something? Please tell me if I'm missing something. Because lease renewal in 2016, they went quiet. They didn't renew the lease, but he carried on there. Or what did he do?
shortly after this, the city just went quiet and no renewal was signed. Chris was kind enough to share his lease agreement.
So sorry, you might not have heard that.
In 2016, the city reached out to Chris and started a conversation about renewing the lease. But shortly after this, the city just went quiet and no renewal was signed.
No renewal was signed. Silence, no renewal. So I'm like, okay, what did he leave? It was in limbo, yeah?
Chris was kind enough to share his lease agreement with me. I saw the clauses about reimbursements, but one clause stood out. Clause 9. It says the leasee must
This is blow your mind.
keep the property in good condition and take all reasonable steps to prevent unlawful structures or occupation.
Okay, so it is your it's your responsibility to make sure that there is no unlawful structure or occupation of this thing. So clause 9. The leasing has to make sure no illegal occupation occurs, and must prevent unlawful structures or occupation. Any damage or occupation resulting from failure to do must be fixed at the lessee's cost. Any failure to damage is fixed at the lessee's cost. Okay, so that's there. They've got you. It's his responsibility to fix it up afterwards. Cool. If that's in the contract, you sign that contract. That it's up to you.
Any damage or occupation resulting from failure to do so must be fixed at the lessee's cost. In simple terms, Chris was responsible for protecting the land, not just maintaining it, but preventing land invasions. And
yeah, he's got to prevent land invasions. But for me, I'm okay with that. Cool. But for me, the problem is what's happened with the government. Okay, what happened with what happened with the freaking law enforcement for this to happen? That's still the main thing. But he's just giving us the full story of how it all got to this point.
if he failed, he'd have to pay. The city would not reimburse or compensate. But when 2,000
So pay or what?
people, he'd have to pay. The city would not reimburse or compensate.
Yeah, the city is not going to compensate. But the thing is, the city is not compensating, but they're the reason that it still blows my mind. Wait, so any damage by illegal things or illegal means, by any criminal entity it's your shit. It's your problem. There's no skin in the game for government. So sorry for you. It's okay. No one's helping you out here. But the thing is, the severity of it, they bear some responsibility, the government.
But when 2,000 people invaded, law enforcement, SAPs, and the city couldn't stop them. So I ask, what exactly was Chris supposed to do?
Chris was supposed to hire the gangsters, right? And they were supposed to shoot them. Oh, and then they would go to jail for shooting. I don't know. What exactly is he supposed to do? He's supposed to not care. He's supposed to go and just move on to the next one because he's just made of money. It's fine. He's just got to continue. Just nothing to do.
Fight off an entire settlement by himself? When the full force of the law couldn't protect this land, how could one man possibly be expected to? If the city...
He hired gangsters, boys. He hired them, but he didn't have enough. Okay, and it was and it would be basically like 200,000 rand a week for him to have that sort of thing. And again, they still came in and vandalized. They had their own shootouts. So my concern was, the police are going to come after you because you're having your own shootout, protecting your property, which I think they probably can, but the police themselves couldn't help. So and Joe's asking, what was Chris supposed to do if the police couldn't do it? That's my major thing. There's clauses and stuff and who owes who money, whatever. But the fact is, there's no repercussions here.
He couldn't do it. How on earth was Chris meant to? I needed to find out how or why the city failed to protect the raceway. The city wouldn't meet me in person, but JP Smith did.
Oh, nice, JP. Okay, so we've got the media response via email. JP. Is it JP Smith or JP Smith? It's Joe. I think I'll even put that here. Okay.
P. Smith, I'm the mayoral committee member for safety and security.
Okay, is it Smith?
For the city of Cape Town. So there was
Mayoral committee member for safety and security. Let me see what you guys think of this guy. I don't really know if I'm... He understands the situation and he's like, yeah, it's cuck. I suppose, is what I remember of this.
was a gradual process of land invasions around the area for a while prior to.
So this, again, like I said, there were several land invasions. It's not just the raceway. It's not like, oh, there's just this one incident. It's weird.
To Tygerberg Raceway. It happened during the fever pitch of the COVID lockdown. A number of factors had come together during that stage to create a unique paralysis against defending land against.
Okay, so he's now giving us reasons why the defense wasn't working. So several other factors affecting why they couldn't stop this land grab. Other land grabs in the area. Height of COVID lockdown. Okay. So weird. I heard basically nothing about this and I'm in proximity. I have friends who race formally. I have friends who race informally. So yeah, but it's very much, it's gone. That racetrack is gone. And maybe it was the fog of COVID, because COVID went on for a while.
Land invaders. The specific problem occurred during July and started with vandalism of the raceway's walls and fencing. The city responded to that crisis. We were dealing with as many at the time.
Wow, look at that. Let me just put this full screen for you guys. So that's how many. There were way more than just one. There's little dots for every bit of land invasion. Stellenbosch Farms, Brackenfell, Durbanville, around Durbanville. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Time as 12 land invasions.
12, sorry. 12 per day. 12 per day.
Day in 30 hotspots around the city.
Let's put this here in the area. So in the areas, 12 per day, 30 spots. Like, that's a lot of people. Who is mobilizing that many people? It's not just them walking around and just, oh, let's do this, we're a mob. That's a lot of people. That's an organized way of getting things done. So 12 land grabs a day. Incidents day in 30 spots. That's insane. Just spoke to my brother. Apparently illegal races are still alive and well in Joburg. Oh, so the spinny races or just any, I don't know. Illegal everything is happening in Joburg. We know this. Kayamandi near Stellenbosch is one of those mountain hobbit towns.
The land invaders had us running from pillar to post trying to defend. The attack on the Tygerberg Raceway was probably the most violent. Day after day, our staff...
Okay, so at least he will admit that Tygerberg was most violent. Okay.
Went in with hardened vehicles. They had an assembly point further down the road.
Look how scary our police are.
A large traffic circle, I think they're on Marula Road, and they would move on up.
There's the armored vehicles. This spectators drive on the highway watching the race. Sounds insane. Oh my god.
and try and demolish the structures as they were going up. And in that particular land invasion, the land invaders subjected one of our staff, or attacked one of our staff members.
Oh yes, we also they had that most violent one staff member was Molotoved. They attempted immolation
With a petrol bomb, which they chucked on the staff member inside a vehicle. We also, during that time, started seeing for the first time live rounds of ammunition being discharged at us.
Okay. Staff member just Molotoved, live ammunition against police. Insane. So is there hope for a better situation? Not really. Because the laws are making this possible. We're getting to that point, that explanation, which that is the you think this is bad. It's like, you're like, sorry, what? It's going to get way worse if the laws don't change. That's why I don't know. I didn't know the depth of this. I don't know how many South Africans do, but again, what happens with South Africa as well is we get these kinds of revelations, and we get angry. And we say, the politicians must be held to account. And then they'll say like, we're going to put a committee together to investigate. So they're going to investigate themselves. And then nothing happens. They say, this is what we investigated ourselves and we found we did our best. Or they just nothing comes of it. That's all. It just never, there's no one going to jail. No one's compensated, nothing. And I guess that is where you can just sit and complain as a South African, because yeah.
So not just organically people expanding structures and building the next structure, etc., but large orchestrated land invasions with large amounts of building materials being delivered by trucks.
They have it's orchestrated. Live ammunition against police. Okay, they have proper orchestrated land grabs with building materials brought in trucks.
Orchestrated attacks on city staff, women and children being placed in front of.
Oh yes, there's also that. They've got orchestrated land grabs of building materials, women and children used as shields. Placed in front, placed of buildings to ensure safety. So they use women and children as
of the land invasions to make it impossible for our staff to respond, and because of the broken nature of the legislation involved, the PI Act.
Okay, so we're gonna get this PI Act right. Keep this in mind, boys. We're gonna have our pie and eat it. Yeah.
And I talked about these other compounding factors, the COVID disaster management lockdown regulations, which said we couldn't demolish any structures.
Oh, by the way, yeah, we can't demolish any structures. So, I know that in America, they had like freezes where you could not evict people for not paying rent during COVID. You just simply could not do that, right? So it's the same sort of thing that they did here, that you couldn't demolish a structure. And you also couldn't evict someone. No. Of a structure. No. No eviction.
And we could not, no eviction applications could take place. So the courts weren't processing any of these interdict applications or eviction applications.
I was trying to get all my documents and things for leaving South Africa during COVID as well. Like there was significant delays with getting my marriage certificate and things like that because COVID. They just used it as an excuse to slow down everything and not do anything. There were certain things you could get done at Home Affairs, which is like the DMV. Okay, there's certain things you could do there, but other things you couldn't. And don't ask why, you just can't. So it's like, okay, you can get your abridged marriage certificate, but you can't get your unabridged one because of reasons. Like, these people run the country. Okay. He's a drag person and funny cars. I avoid that stuff. Don't find it interesting. I watch touring cars, Formula Ford, open days, street drags, and not that stuff. Are you gonna go and watch? Okay, you didn't say Formula One, but are you interested in the Formula One movie? I was considering taking Gordon to that, just so you could see it on IMAX, because I feel like there will be a lot of cool scenes. But I think he's like, I will just wait for it to come to streaming. The US has many squatters laws that actually protect them over land laws. It's bizarre. Yeah, I've seen some of those. I mean, even the My Worst Roommate shows and things like that. It's incredible what those squatters laws allow people to do. And they started off at for people's rights. You can't actually squat in the US. It's if you have a lease and rent. Sometimes there are scammers that make up a fake lease. No, there's jeez, it's go and watch My Roommate from Hell. It's crazy.
And compounded by the South African Human Rights Commission, Chris Nissen's court action.
I gotta love the SARC, SAHRC, South African Human Rights Commission. They tell us all the time what we can do and what
against the city, which patients. No eviction applications could take place. So the courts, when processing any of these interdict applications or eviction applications, and compounded by the South African Human Rights Commission, Chris Nissen's.
Okay, so he says compounded, so he's giving us all these other things. SA Human Rights Commission. Okay, what did it do? What did it do?
Court action against the city, which I'm fairly confident he did not himself believe in, based on the comments he made to us in the mayoral committee and in engagements with the then mayor.
Court action against the city of Cape Town.
Yeah, but here one needs to understand how broken and farcical the legislation is. So during that time, because of the SAHRC court interdict and because of the lockdown regulations, and because of the body of legislation and how the goalposts have moved with the PI Act and the interpretation of that very vague piece of legislation by judges and courts across South Africa.
Pause. Wait a second. What's this PI Act that everyone keeps mentioning? If it's the first...
Hey, I'll pause. So let's go into the PI Act. I don't understand why it's called PI Act. Let me see how because I was just listening to this. So I'm like, how are we getting this with the acronym? That's it.
First time you're hearing about it, you're not alone. Luckily, I know a guy who can break it all down. Mark Oppenheimer.
Woo! Advocate Mark Oppenheimer. Let's go.
The Prevention of Illegal Eviction from an Unlawful Occupation of Land Act, otherwise known as PI.
Provincial. Please put it up there.
Is the primary legislation for regulating evictions in South Africa.
Wow. Okay. Let's go back.
Of Land Act, otherwise known
I'm gonna need
as PI.
Mark Oppenheimer.
The Prevention of Illegal Eviction from
the prevention. Let's just wait. This got PI Act. Prevention of illegal eviction. So illegal eviction. Okay, your eviction has to be legal. I agree. But this thing makes it illegal for you to evict someone who is there illegally. This was the thing that made me want to watch this whole documentary, because they quoted this and I was like, are you for real? Yeah.
an Unlawful Occupation of Land Act, otherwise known as PI.
From unlawful, eviction. Sorry, it goes all the way from an unlawful occupation. So it's okay. You see, it says unlawful. We had to say unlawful instead of illegal. So prevention of illegal eviction from illegal occupation is essentially what we could call it. But we said unlawful. is there honestly, advocate? I want to know, Advocate Oppenheimer, is there a difference between eviction from between illegal and unlawful in law? Is there something different? Is there a difference? Kom ons eet 'n pie. Ja, ons eet 'n milktart. Wow. It's insane. This is the biggest piece of shit that you could okay, so let's go into it.
Is the primary legislation for regulating evictions in South Africa. This will be a hurdle for any person who owns land and wants to evict illegal occupiers from it. And
Anyone who owns land and who wants to evict illegal occupiers. So who cares if they're illegal? No one gives a shit. So does this sound familiar?
would of course have been the legislation that would have governed the situation that the racetrack found itself. So,
okay, so the reason it came up, so why this was a good thing initially, right? The purpose of the PIRE Act is to provide protections for people who illegally occupy land. So this was because of apartheid. Of course, great stuff that we got left behind because of apartheid. Okay.
the purpose of the PIRE Act is to provide protections for people who illegally occupy land or buildings, and to then provide a process for their eviction. So,
okay, so it's to provide you need due process for the eviction. Okay, due process. Eviction.
it makes it illegal to evict someone without going through a court process. It
Okay, so providing due process for eviction.
also makes it illegal and punishable with a jail sentence to hijack a building and then sell access to that building to illegal occupiers. But what it
Okay, whoa. So it also including that. So you also can't hijack. Also illegal to hijack a building and sell it for illegal occupation. Okay, cool. But this was all because of apartheid. Good times.
does in creating these different procedural constraints in terms of how an eviction must operate is to delay the eviction process and to add to the costs. So it's
so right now what it did. So initially it was for apartheid. Okay. Initially way to apartheid's land disparity. Okay, protect people. Then okay, well, oopsie poopsie. Now what it's currently what it's turned into. Now it's used. Now just used. Not I wouldn't say just, but now it's used to delay and increase the cost of eviction. Guys, somebody exploited the law. They exploited the law that was there. Wow. Is it an old law, or was it the whites considered to be illegally occupying land? I'm a little sleepy. No. It's not about the whites being considered illegally. It's that they did the Lands Act. They literally moved in apartheid. They moved black people into settlements that they're supposed to go to. They were, what are they called? Locations. They're called the location.
incredibly expensive to have someone evicted, and it can be incredibly time consuming to have someone evicted. And so what that does is erode a property rights owner.
So the whole point is why you have hashtag property rights when you're talking about this, is it erodes property rights. Like you have to pay to have your property and then try to keep it. It's just, I think that is a great word. It's just eroding property rights. It becomes just a struggle to keep anything that was yours, that you actually did pay for, whether you paid for it, you built upon it, you created a business on it, all of that stuff. If somebody decides to take your shit, there is nothing you can do about it. And that's fucking crazy.
Use of their property. one of the ways in which PI often comes up in our courts is when you have someone who is a tenant, they entered into a lease, they paid for a certain period of time, and then at some juncture they stopped paying. Once they stopped paying, they became an illegal occupier in terms of the Act. This is something that probably wasn't envisaged by the original drafters, but was developed through the case law. What it then does is create this very expensive burden to have the person removed. And
Yeah, lovely squatters things. It's a nice burden to have your person removed. Yes.
doesn't allow someone to take the law into their own hands and to evict the person themselves and pay.
You actually can't. That's why I'm saying has Chris not been what's the name? What do you call it? Like convicted or not convicted, charged with illegal eviction. Hasn't he gone forth and illegally evicted people? Tried to illegally, at least by attacking them back. Yes, they attacked him, but he has no legal standing to try and remove them. So you cannot remove people yourself. Can't take the law into your own hands. So my question is, didn't Chris do this? So when he hired the gangsters. I can understand why he did it. What's the moral of the story? Government cock. Government is shit. The government, the ANC. Or just the situation, not just the ANC, because the DA is in control of Western Cape. And this law is still sitting there.
Of criminal sanction.
Well, I guess the law applies to all over the country.
What happens in practice is that it can cost hundreds of thousands of rands to conduct an eviction, which must be done through the sheriff. And
so you actually land up being just scared off your land. Is it worth it? Eventually, it's like you're paying. It becomes just this. A lot of those laws were set up before ANC. Yep. But they. So he's picking up. Yes, there is an unforeseen circumstance, but I'm thinking that we've seen it now. 30 years in, I think we've seen where it's gone. And maybe we can see how we might be able to figure it out. And also there is the responsibility of the law enforcement to deal with this as well. Because the way that they are exploiting this law, when a law is exploited, you have to make some sort of changes, right? At least try.
Long delays in court processes and the expense of hiring lawyers, often under circumstances where it's impossible to recover the costs.
Many South Africans don't know that this law exists.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that you couldn't at all. Yeah. But I guess it makes sense having a legal process of eviction is, I don't know. I just thought you get served with an eviction notice, and then it's like you get your ass out, or people will remove you themselves. To provide for the prohibition of unlawful eviction, to provide for procedures for the eviction of unlawful occupiers, and to repeal the Prevention of Illegal Squatting Act, 1951. So that's how old it is, and other obsolete laws, and to provide for matters and incidental thereto, whereas no one may be deprived of property except in terms of law of general application, and no law may permit arbitrary deprivation of property. Okay, no law should permit that. Okay, but what that PI law does is permit deprivation of property. Whereas no one may be evicted from their home or have their home demolished without an order of court made after considering all the relevant circumstances. So what people do is they make this a home as well. They go and they make sure that you consider it a home. And whereas it is desirable that the law should regulate the eviction of unlawful occupiers from land in a fair manner, while recognizing the right of landowners to apply to a court for an eviction order in appropriate circumstances. I don't understand. Why do I need to ask the court? I suppose if the person is not leaving, I've informed them that they need to leave. If that person is not leaving, is that what we're supposed to do with this?
Act was introduced in 1998 as a response to apartheid's legacy of forced removals, meant to.
Okay, so wait, it was in response to 1951. Okay, it's a law that was in 1951. So, introduced in 1998 and it's to repeal 1951 law. Where for eviction, lawful law, occupiers. So I'm not on. So wow, they added this in. Okay.
To ensure that those injustices would never happen again. At its core, it was about protecting dignity, fairness, of forced. Many South Africans don't know that this law exists. The PI Act was introduced in 1998 as a response to apartheid's legacy of forced removals, meant to ensure.
Okay. A response to forced removals, which was, like I said, putting people in the location, right? So to forced response to. Okay.
Sure that those injustices would never happen again. At its core, it was about protecting dignity, fairness, and justice in a new South Africa.
Because effectively what the PI Act does now,
Okay, so what it does now?
and as it is now most recently interpreted, is to say that that we may only demolish the structures if we do it instantaneously.
Okay, so now it's done the way it works now. PI in current use can only demolish. This is interesting. How did they get to that? You can only demolish the structures if it's instantaneous. What do you mean? Do we need to drop some bunker busters? I'm not. Can only demolish structure if it's instantaneous. So it's before it's occupied, I suppose. It's before anybody lives in it. That's what you do.
So the Human Rights Commission got an interdict application against us to prevent us from counter-spoliating.
Hold on, counter-spoliating? What does that even mean?
Counter-spoliating, dude. What's a counter-spoliation? Heck yeah. Okay, so we do a counter-spoliation. Counter-poliating. What?
Let's go to Mark.
One method that someone can use to quickly reclaim land that has been illegally occupied is called counter-spoliation.
Counter-spoliation. Okay. Counter-spo, not oscillation. It's a way to get rid of. No, it's not even racism against whites. It's actually just against anyone who owns property. So anybody who has a property has this problem. If anyone decides to come after it.
Someone can use to quickly reclaim land that has been illegally occupied is called counter-spoliation. So let's say that you're walking down the street and someone grabs your handbag. You are allowed to immediately grab it back from them. That's sort of counter-spoliation.
Okay. So immediately take back something that was stolen from you. But listen, boys, you can't. I wonder if counter-spoliation happens there. Property owner versus someone overstaying their welcome here.
Spoliation. But if you waited a month or two to then try and reclaim your handbag and then took it from them, you would be spoliating the handbag from them.
So listen, you see that? So that's okay. Is okay. Waiting to take back something after counts as spoliating that person. So you're getting it back. So is it systemic poverty, gang warfare? I think it's the system uses gang warfare, uses it exploits the environment that is there to continue with this. Expoliate is the word of the day. Yes, something that was stolen from your counter, spoliating that person. Wow.
They would have a claim to then try and reclaim your handbag and then took it from them. You would be spoliating the handbag from them, and they would have a claim to say, "I'm in possession of the item."
I'm in possession of the item. Yes, that's the problem. You fuck! You stole something from me.
ownership is not a concern, but you have to have a court order to get it back from you.
You have to have a court order. You need a court order to get that back. The thief, the person who stole it. Okay, so wait, you are. Oh, so don't just leave the land unoccupied. No, Carissa, that is not what was happening. This land was occupied. Okay, and the literally there were fences. This was an operating business. Okay, that this is land, this is property, and you're saying that you mustn't leave it. You mustn't leave it unoccupied. So just protect it. Yeah, protect it, and then it won't be. But now, when somebody does come and take your shit, and then there is no repercussions, you don't have any enforcement of law. What the fuck are you supposed to do? Are you? You can't. Oh, can I? So you're gonna have to just sit in your land and make sure that you occupy every single meter of that land, so that nobody else can come in there. I can imagine this gets tricky in renting out property. So what is the threshold for taking too long? Well, I'm sure in the way that it works, they've got it. It's like 24 hours or some shit like that. Waiting today. This is incredible. So yes, you can't, when you go, you need gangs. When you go with your gang buddies that you hired, the taxi rank guys, to go and get your car back because you found it in Khayelitsha, that would probably, if we were trying to be technical, would require a court order, because you can't just, you have to immediately take the car back. You can't, it's now in their possession. There's like this magical possession thing that works. Interesting. Law is incredible. I'm so glad I'm not a lawyer.
Just take the law into your hands. So it must be done immediately.
You effectively have a situation where only if we are instantaneously stopping this
You see, instantaneously.
structure may we act. Where we have acted in the court's estimation, anywhere after that, we have been forced to return the building materials, rebuild the structures, and pay compensation to the
Oh fuck! I forgot this part. So if they take it down without this court order, so part of this taking down structures can the city taking down structures, when the authorities take down structures, they may be forced to rebuild them because they weren't lawful evictions. So it actually becomes even more costly. No, but if someone has your car and you have a receipt, it's proof that it was yours. No, but it was in their possession. The guy said that the ownership doesn't matter. It's that it was in possession, and you need a court order for that. That's literally what he said here.
Or install it to get it back from you. You can't just take the law into your hands. Item. You would be
He's just
spoliating your hand back
explaining
from
this
there.
idea. I don't know if it really applies this.
And they would have a claim to say, I'm in possession of the item. The ownership is not a concern, but you
The ownership is not a concern. So the ownership, yeah. Your receipt says that you own the car, but I've got it in my possession.
have to have a court order to get it back from you. You can't just take the law.
So basically, if we just apply this to the land, it's like, I stole your land, okay, by just occupying it and taking it from you, but you can't make me leave it and give it back to you if you take too long. So if I take your building, if you come and you erect a shack in my yard or a tent in my yard, and I immediately take it away from you, then it's cool. But if, I don't know, a certain amount of time comes along and goes past, then I need a court order to do it. Your receipt means fuck all. Well, it means something to you.
Launch your hand, so it must be done immediately.
You effectively have a situation where only if we are instantaneously stopping the structure may we act.
So instantaneously. So you have to, before it gets up. So you just have to, like, look, guys, if you get it in time, if you nip it in the bud, you can do it. Okay. So the authorities, when they take them, they haven't taken them down in time. they have to pay. They have to put them back up, basically. So there's that. It seems like someone should object to this law, I would say, guys. But a lot of people, like myself, didn't even know that this was the mechanism that was going on here in land grabs.
Where we
just thought, oh, well, the police are incompetent. That's it. That's what I thought. Okay, at least I can only speak for myself. I would just think, oh, the police are incompetent. They can't do this. Then we are under resourced as well. That's probably why it happens, and eventually we just can't deal with it. But it seems like it's multi-layered. Yeah, cool, under resourced, but there's a whole law here that makes it actually really easy for the occupiers to do their thing, and they go on to explain exactly how it's done.
In the court's estimation, anyway, after that, we have been forced to return the building materials, rebuild the structures, and pay compensation to the persons. The Fire Act is a very skinny framework piece of legislation. It is meant to be populated or underpinned by regulations that are supposed to flesh out the detail on it. Because the national government have, since the inception of our democratic dispensation, failed to flesh out those regulations.
Okay, so this over here, the fact that it was made, it was supposed to redress forced removals or whatever. It was supposed to have regulations, specific regulations built into it, built on top the law, but hasn't happened. Okay, so that's another thing. Another thing that a lot of South Africans will tell you is that like things that were supposed to have happened post-democracy did not happen, and when you try to complain about that sort of thing, the response is always, it's apartheid's fault. That's why we're so far behind. It's apartheid's fault. It's because of apartheid. It's because of the white people that we can't do this. So there's a perpetual excuse for government failings in South Africa. And immediately as I say that, I can absolutely hear the response of, no, you're just being racist. It's a nice, easy thing to say.
We have a completely broken piece of law that effectively says if you leave your home, you return and you find somebody has now hopped over your low boundary fence and opened a tent on your front lawn, that structure is permanent. It's there.
Yeah. No, that's literally it. Like, you could literally do this. So this thing about the tents, this is what people said, can we go and make erect a tent or pitch a tent or whatever in front of the president's house or some other minister's house to put this law to the test. Do it. But this is how you would have to do it.
It's a home. It's deemed a home. Even the piece of plastic that a homeless person pulls over him or herself is deemed a home. We then...
So even the plastic... So yeah, example. He gives us an example. A tent in your backyard. Someone puts a tent. That is a home. A plastic top. A homeless person uses, sorry. Cover themselves is a home. Okay, so that's considered.
Went to court, and it took an incredible long time for the courts to permit us to challenge that extremely problematic SAHRC court interdict that precluded us from exercising that common law right of counter-spoliation. And eventually we won. Okay,
so they actually had to fight. They had to fight the SAHRC to get the ability to do this counter-spoliation. Only possible now after winning a court case against SAHRC. Wow.
We went to court, and I think it went all the way to the Supreme Court of Appeals. The court said we are allowed to counter-spoliate. We are allowed to hire contractors because they also try to block us from using contracted services to remove the structures. We are allowed to have a land invasion unit, which they also try to block. And we do not need a standard operating procedure for how this works, because the goal there is to bind us to a very narrow set of rules and then constantly game those rules in terms of trying to find flaws so that you can do the one thing that the rules did not provide for, and constantly incapacitate us from defending public.
Okay, so they had what do we do? What does South Africa do? Vote them out. Tarp a homeless person uses to cover themselves at home. Anyway, that they had to do this. What they did get is, let me just go back.
And private find floor structures.
Leave.
We are allowed to
That's not.
To have a land invasion for contractors because they also try to block us from using
Not all of us are lucky enough to leave. I was lucky because of, I was lucky because of my husband to be able to leave. Otherwise, I would not have been able to leave.
So the court said we are allowed to counter-spoliate.
Okay, so they're allowed to counter-spoliate.
We are allowed to hire contractors because they also tried.
Okay, they also tried. Okay, contractors for demolition are allowed. Demolition are allowed. So they tried to stop them from doing that. So no, you can't hire a contractor to take the structures down.
To block us from using contracted services to remove the structures. We are allowed to have a land invasion unit, which they also try to.
Okay, so land invasion units allowed. Okay.
And we do not need a standard operating procedure for how this works, because the goal there is to bind us to a very narrow set of rules and then constantly game.
No standard procedure as to be bound to. Okay, so this law was trying to make it very narrow and very difficult for you to do this. Gordon blessed by kittens. Gordon blessing the kittens. What do you mean you can't leave? Not enough money to do so. No job on the other side in another country available. Morning, Lucifer. That sort of thing. Literally, you can't leave. It's not like you can just walk over a border and go and find a job somewhere else. You have to pay. It's a huge amount of money. Not many people own property to go and sell their property so that they have a little bit of a buffer when they go. Our currency is also not very strong, so moving from our country to anywhere else is even more costly to move.
In those rules, in terms of trying to find flaws, so that you can do the one thing that the rules did not provide for, and constantly incapacitate us from defending public and private land.
And who just accept you? It's not. If you can just go anywhere you want. Yeah, you can't go anywhere you want. It's also difficult to find some place that accepts you. Yeah, but 2 million rand is the minimum to buy yourself out.
Also came with a very problematic finding that all of this had to happen instantaneously.
Trying to think, if you add it all up, possibly. That's if you're lucky. Yeah. South African passport requires visas for majority of countries, and this process is expensive and takes a lot of time. Yep, you don't get like a visa on arrival for in a country, and then you can just go and get a work permit and whatever. Yeah, it's not. We call our passports the green mamba, which is a poisonous snake. Like they're a venomous snake. That's kind of it. Nobody gives a shit about South Africa. We're not exactly a we really want those people in. You are surrounded by your people, your language, your culture. You must leave all that behind and become an American or an Australian. Or just an expat of various places. You become a nomad. And you find when you find South Africans that have also left, you really miss it. And yeah, it's a weird. We did I think quite a while ago on immigration and the kind of guilt that happens from leaving your country. But then one thing that helps people is like, oh, well, if they have kids, then they're like, I want a better life for my kids. And for me, it's just like we wanted a better life for ourselves. So we're kind of selfish that way, I suppose. I'm pretending to be South African. Yes, I'm American.
So we could only take these actions if you instantly prevent it. So what happens with a land invasion, like at the Tygerberg Raceway, is that you get there on day one and the first structures are built inside.
So this is the process. I just want to do this. The Power Act. This is the process of how it works. Land invasion process. And how it's what do you call it? How it exploits this law. But often they make so anybody who an immigrant makes the host nation worse in process. Well, yeah, if it's left unchecked, if there's no requirements for that person to behave in a certain way, if they try and just bring whatever rules they followed at home here to the new country, there is got to have this thing that you are there because of the grace of the nation that you're allowed to be in. You know, it seems like with America, when you get citizenship, though, that should be a really big deal. Like, it's something that there's a path to citizenship for you. Like where I'm at, there's no path to citizenship. You can have a golden visa or something, but you'll never be a citizen of the United Arab Emirates. You are not an Emirati, and that's fine. That they have the right to say that, to do that. Okay, so land invasion process. So on the day they go in there.
You then demolish those structures. You are retaining, like at the Tygerberg Raceway, is that you get there on day one and the first structures are built inside.
Okay. First structure, day one structures go up. SA rules were Zulu rules before British, no? I suppose. Yeah. The rulers, Zulus being the top of the food chain. Hey, fiddlesticks. They don't assimilate. Assimilation indirectly requires a belief in the blank slate theory. Yeah, I think assimilation that results in gradual change anyway, because you are never going to completely just let go of your culture. Like, even though in South Africa people will think that I'm not African enough, there is an Africanness that you have from living in Africa, and you bring that sort of attitude with you to wherever you go. And then you have to deal with the culture that you go into, this culture shock and all of that. Yeah, I don't believe that there's this blank slate, but assimilation does have to, it is better than complete indoctrination of the host nation. You know, like it completely turning it into it. It's this weird balance of trying to let everybody coexist. I guess there has to still be rules. And assimilation, I don't know, maybe assimilation is not possible when two cultures are so different. Like, there's no tolerance on both sides. Okay, so some immigrants in the West are okay. For example, Japanese, Vietnamese are typically really cool. MENA are really bad news. Middle East and North African. Other Europeans are okay mostly. Yeah, I suppose. Okay, so day one structures go up. So this is the main part of it, I think. Yeah, let's go.
You then demolish those structures. You are retaining to land invasions in 2 or 3 other places.
So you go and you demolish structures. But there's other land invasions. Demolish structures, go to other sites of land invasion. Okay.
The situation becomes extremely violent. Our soft vehicles are smashed up. Our hardened vehicles are busy with land invasions and other problems.
Wow. Okay, so we've got vehicle damage.
Parts of the city. And so it becomes extremely difficult to remove anything, because what we then saw.
Okay, so vehicle damage or whatever. So it's difficult to remove. Okay, of invasion, dangerous and difficult. And then, okay, then what they do is they go and put up structures.
Arising very prominently is the practice of dressing structures.
Okay, dressing structures. So they actually make something that looks like it's lived in.
So I saw this personally in Witsands, where a bunch of new structures, informal structures, were erected. And
What was the video clip? It was like a swarm of people. I don't know if this is
You are returning to-
Tygerberg. I don't know if it's Tygerberg.
to land invasions in 2 or 3 other places,
We have
the-
to ask Joe.
situation becomes extremely violent. Our vehicles, our soft vehicles, are smashed up.
It's funny because I put it at 1.5 speed.
Modern vehicles are busy with land invasions in other parts of the city, and so it becomes extremely difficult to remove anything, because what we then saw arising very prominently is the practice of dressing structures. So
Yeah, so you dressing structures, you.
I saw this personally in Witsands, where a bunch of new structures, informal structures, were erected, and these structures were unoccupied.
So unoccupied structures that are supposed to are created to look. They're occupied. Hey, Davina.
The inside the structures, the grass is still 30 centimeters high. And in some structures, then you've had an attempt to make the structure look occupied. So you have 2 milk crates with a piece of foam bed across it and a sheet draped across that. So it looks like a bed, but if you press in the middle of it, there's nothing to sustain it. So the appearance of a bed collapses. There are suitcases placed, but the suitcases are empty. So an attempt is made at creating the ostensible or the appearance of occupation, so that the city is precluded from removing these structures. And so every rule is gamed, and where
So every rule is gamed. They have all of these rules and like, we got you, boy. And that for me is like, I'm not seeing thousands of people, okay, hundreds of people figuring all that out and doing it all on their own. Do you honestly think that people living in informal settlements are sitting there going, what is the law that I can do? What does the law allow me to do? I think there is some sort of communication with leaders in such communities. They're told this is how it works, and then they go and exploit it.
people who shack farm, there are people who actively drive this. There have been many media interviews with it. This is not my conjecture. I have encountered these individuals.
Syndicates driving shack farming for monetary gain. Okay, that's shack farming for monetary gain. Interesting. And that was 4 years ago. Okay. I'm fairly sure the EFF does a lot of that. I think in a lot of cases it does. And I think they do talk about it.
Individuals in Imazama Yetu, in Hout Bay and elsewhere, who charge extortionate rates, build structures, bully people out of their structures, take it over, then let it again to other persons, including.
So poor people are being shit to poor people. Okay, so it's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna take your shack. Okay, you're living in a shack. Your shanty. I'm gonna take your shanty from you. You built this thing. You're struggling. I'm gonna yeet you out of there, and then I'll rent out this shack to somebody else. Good times. For monetary gain, so that it's just stealing from people to lease them out as opposed to rent them. Building. Wow.
Foreign nationals and are completely mercenary about how they conduct themselves, including allegedly committing murders and serious violent crime. And
What?
persons, including to foreign nationals, extortionate rates, build structures, bully people out of their structures, take it over, then let it again to other persons, including to foreign nationals, and are
Okay. So he says building, letting, stealing / building shacks from people to rent them to others, including foreign nationals. He had to put that in because that is a major thing in South Africa. It's all those homeless lawyers, yeah. Those little shits, 500 rand a shack per month or what? I don't know. I don't know. 500 rand is a lot for somebody for a month. So wait, stealing building shacks for people to rent from others, including foreign nationals. We had to keep that foreign nationals. We had to bring that in there. It's like, oh, by the way, including Zimbabweans and things like that who are desperate. So they're the ones that are housing the illegals. I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth, but he just had to note that they are in foreign. They are the illegal. We have illegal immigration in South Africa.
Are completely mercenary about how they conduct themselves, including allegedly committing murders and serious violent crime, in terms of intimidation and otherwise, if anybody speaks up. And these so-called
mafias, yeah,
farmers or land invasion facilitators will charge people 5,000, 2,000. I've heard of amounts up to 15,000 being charged for an, in quotes, home, where they then facilitate the panels and stuff being carried sometimes in the middle of the night.
Wow. So they're a syndicate. They can go 15,000 to 20,000, did he say?
Being charged for an, in quotes, home.
2,000, sorry. It amounts up to 2,000 to 15,000. 2,000 to 15,000. For like putting up shacks, for assembling. So yeah, there are so many moving parts here for this thing. There is all different. Okay, this kind of person has found a way to make a buck, and this kind of person's found a way to make a buck, and yes, it involves the literal, just normal poor citizenry, but then it goes all the way up into legislation because they also make money off of these things.
Home, where they then facilitate.
They being the government, being the authorities.
The panels and stuff being carried sometimes in the middle of the night. They can show you eye in the sky footage with the thermal cameras tracking people.
Yeah, the private security firms are the ones that provide these things.
Carrying sets of building materials in the middle of the night so that we can't find them in completely densely vegetated areas to go and build the structures so that come morning those structures are nominally standing and can be used or can then be occupied. So you have people constantly.
So they make them so that it's because they're up in time. If they weren't immediately taken down, they're within the law. So they go. You just wake up and there's a whole town.
Advocating and working
like a little mini town, I suppose,
in the interest of the land invaders and gaming every weakness in the system to ensure that the land invaders are able to occupy public and private land. And that the entire underpinnings of this entire crisis in South Africa is the political and legal cowardice of the National Governing Party.
Woo! Let's get it. So he's saying, listen, it's the National Governing Party. It's their problem. They're the reason. It's too much cowardice. So that's the reason. Of the governing party. Okay, why? In Danune, they build illegal apartment buildings and rent it out for an average of 2,500 per square meter to people who can't apply for regular housing. They pay the kind of money to live in shit. Yep.
Who have been unable.
But last name is McLean and the red isn't that natural, huh?
To have clear thinking legislation that spells out a clear set of executable and
it's funny having them dance in high speed.
And operationalizable rules around this that are reasonable and do not impose an unreasonable burden of defense on public and private landowners.
Rules that don't unreasonable defense on public. It's insane. That's the most insane part of it. Just this whole thing that the law, they just game the law and nobody is making it. Like when your law is being exploited, we have to do something about it.
It cannot be that you leave your land untended for a few hours, come back and find.
See, this is the thing that I was talking about, Carissa. Yeah, you can't leave your land for a couple of hours and come back and there's a shanty town there.
Structure it and may not counter-spoliate that structure and then have to spend a year or two in court. And in the case of the city, and in the case of many private landowners, where the city is then cited as a respondent, before we may then apply for that eviction application, we have to offer the occupiers alternative accommodation. So
It's on them. Sorry, I forgot this part. When you're evicting the person that is squatting on your land, you have to provide them with alternative accommodation. By the way, requirements: person evicting is required to offer alternative accommodation. Get the fuck out! Get the fuck! Sorry, sir. Sorry. I know that you've taken over my farm here, but you know what? We can put you over there. I'll help you. Like, are you for fucking real?
So now we have to offer accommodation to all these persons. And what you're really doing by that is incentivizing more people to queue jump, to occupy land illegally, to deny legitimate beneficiaries on waiting lists the chances of getting...
Yeah, so people that are going through it the right way, which, first of all, that's not happening in any case. They've been supposedly promising people houses for many, many years, and nobody gets them. They've been promising electricity, and nobody gets the electricity, and whatever. All of that shit has been happening since I was born. Okay, and now people are like, oh well, I can jump the list, then I can skip the list, I can be more of a problem to people so that I can then eventually get what I want. So it's incentivizing. So I have no doubt that we will have laws that are exploited all the time, but this one seems to be it has a lot of loopholes. So wow, you it incentivizes people to skip the queue, the line for RDP housing. It's more viable get housing that way than wait for government. Wow.
homes, and you're incentivizing land invasions and violent land invasions. Because if the city will take reasonable steps to stop land from being occupied, we are then met with unreasonable levels of violence, including attempts at immolating our staff with petrol bombs.
I love the way that he said, including in attempts to immolate our staff with petrol bombs. Like, and
then if we
it's violent as well. And if we respond
with proportionate measures of violence.
Yep. I'm glad he's not afraid of. Look, it's a nice way to say when we also clap back. Okay, as violent as they are, we
are then very rapidly accused and interdicted and taken to court, and staff members charged, etc. So it is a complete.
So yeah, even using what's it? What did he call it?
We are then very rapidly accused.
Using proportionate force against violent occupation results in more in court cases, in legal action against those to prevent it. Nice, great time. So their hands are tied. Okay, these are the excuses that they're giving, and I don't know, I'm kind of convinced.
And interdicted and taken to court, and staff members charged, etc. So it is a completely untenable situation, and the heart of that untenable situation created by this broken piece of national legislation called the PI Act.
It seems the PI Act worked a little bit too well. Today in South Africa, land invaders are better protected than the property owner. If there's
Wow, land invaders, guys, land invaders are better protected than the property owner. It's almost like robbers are better protected than the property owner. We kind of have that, yeah. Okay.
Structure, you're not allowed to take it down, especially if there's evidence that someone lives in it. You're told to act immediately, but also you can't. You need a court order, you have to provide alternative accommodation, and all of that costs time and money, and a lot of it. And then there are groups, the ones who help coordinate these occupations. I wanted to find out more.
Yes, this is the main thing that I am not getting as well. Like, okay, so you absolutely have to have some coordination for this to occur. And what would your first step be in trying to figure out who does this? You go to the shack company and you're like, hey, the shack company, and what I mean is like the shack farming syndicate. Are they going to want to talk to you, Joe?
To hear from someone on the ground, someone who's walked through informal settlements, who works with communities affected by housing delays and land grabs,
Uh-huh.
and who advocates for people still waiting, often for years, on the housing list. For her safety, she asked to remain anonymous. So for this documentary, we'll call her Daisy.
Daisy! Daisy got a fright. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I said Daisy, and she got a big fright. Oh. I'll try and let you know. There she is. Okay, you guys can't really see her, but the white poofy thing there is Daisy. She got a fright. But yeah, Daisy is not involved in this, guys. She's over here, but fine. We'll use the pseudonym.
Here's what Daisy had to say about the raceway.
The Tygerberg Raceway invasion was actually a result of the
Okay, so we've actually got normal. The Tygerberg Racecourse's invasion was a result of Blokenbos evictions. Okay. Daisy. Where's she from? Daisy, not her real name. Daisy from the community. Daisy. Let us get another background song for a second. What the fuck, woman? I was taking a nap. She was really like, excuse me? What do you need from me? Let's get another chill. Maybe I'll put another one while we're here. Chill 4. There we go. Music, courtesy of Creamage. Okay. So let's see. The Tygerberg Racecourse was a result of Blokenbos. Blokenbos evictions. Okay. What is somebody was in Blokenbos and then?
The Blokenbos eviction that took place. We spoke to some of those people.
Okay, so were they evicted from somewhere, then they went to Tygerberg.
And according to that group, they used to get their water from the racetrack facilities.
This person sounds like a man. But okay, they got their water from the racetrack facilities.
And apparently they said they got permission from the city officials.
To go and live there. Okay. Tygerberg. Community getting water from the racetrack, raceway, and claiming they had permission from the councillor. Okay, that's interesting.
Go and live there. But the ward councillor denied that they got permission from them.
Wow. So they got denied by the councillor. Okay.
What is very, very strange also is the fact that a particular land was earmarked for social housing development.
I asked the city about these allegations.
Okay, so they would. This is repeating that fact that that because that land was earmarked for housing development. Again, the thing is, it shouldn't have been. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was flooding and people died because they lived there. In Tygerberg. Let me just see. I don't know if I'll be able to find such an old news article, but I just think people flooding in Tygerberg. Cape Town. News. Friday's weather. No. Flood alerts. Areas to avoid in Cape Town. Relentless weather wreaks havoc across Western Cape. Flood washes away shacks in Cape Town Nature Reserve. Homes evacuated as blaze threatens. Okay, there's. Okay, whatever. It seems like I just have that memory. I don't know if anyone else remembers. I think South Africa was too cold for pre-modern people to populate. Imagine 2.5 feet of snow. Yeah, we are very spoiled with winters in South Africa. They are nice. The New World and Old World are still merging in South Africa. It's taboo to talk about our real issues. My current take on this documentary is that it highlights issues but not offering solutions. I didn't see the beginning though. Well, it's asking questions, and I think it's a good start to ask those questions. I don't look. It's an hour long, so maybe we do get to solutions by the end of it. But we're going to get to halfway through today.
Towards them that they might be involved or were involved in the land grab that happened on the raceway. Here's what they had to say. The city obtained a court order on the 31st of July 2020 as soon as it became aware of the initial invasion. The order was meant to prevent any further invasions with SAP's assistance, but it wasn't effective. Resources were
So yeah, they've given us they've given this. They had the court order. So remember, we've been told that getting this stupid court order is what is necessary. They got it, but it didn't help. Okay, court order was given, and this is the 31st. So that happened on the 25th. They got the court order by the 31st of July. Well done, but the police couldn't because of COVID. Okay, they're given for eviction on 31st July. But police couldn't. It wasn't effective.
were limited during COVID-19 lockdown. That's
we needed people to get fines for not wearing their mask in their car or something.
Version, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, especially about the raceway being earmarked for housing. How easy is it for the public or anyone else for that matter to find out if a piece of land is earmarked for housing?
Okay, so if it's earmarked for housing, okay, so it's okay. They are figuring out this. The fact that it is earmarked for housing is alerted to these groups that shouldn't be allowed. Is the vibe I'm getting here. Land was earmarked for housing, and that seems to be a reason for a reason people will occupy. Okay, so they're just like, well, look, it's going to be housing anyway. We'll just build the houses there. I can see some solutions to some issues raised already, like not having to provide shelter to illegal occupier. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But changing the legislation is another thing. Like you know the solutions, but it's actually getting it done. You know, can you imagine? Like, what do we even prioritize? But this is a big deal. If land is such a big issue in South Africa, this should be quite a high priority.
Or we start building the public participation processes, the impact assessments, the EIAs, and other participation.
For that matter, to find out if a piece of land is earmarked for housing.
Before.
Okay, so how do you find out? Finding out land is earmarked. So let's have a look here for housing. Let's have a look here. His initial questions that he wants to answer in this documentary, right? He wants to say who's enabling it, who's profiting, why does this law seem powerless to stop it? So we have mostly been focusing on why does the law seem powerless to stop it? We've got a little bit of who's profiting and who's enabling. We've just had the broad idea of the government. I suppose the government not changing this, that's the broad idea. So this was these are the main questions to keep in mind the whole way through. But I think, yeah, what we've done mostly is this law seems powerless to stop it. So all of this who's profiting is shady as fuck. So I think the reason that he focuses on that now, on focusing on finding out if land is earmarked for housing, who leaks this information, that would be somebody who is enabling it, right? It's enabling it, and who benefits. Why would they benefit from enabling this? And it's actually quite a thing, because it's all about land, the land mafia, the construction mafia.
We start building the public participation processes, the impact assessments, the EIAs, and otherwise the processes in the budgeting, which generally is a 12 to 24 month exercise, and can be in some cases 4 or 5 years of preparatory work, planning work, etc. All of those have an endless number of people who have eyes on it. And certainly that site, the Tygerberg Raceway, was known that there were processes underway to look at that site. It's also become clear that certain...
Okay, so it was known. Many people, assessments, budgets, plans, people will know. A place is being considered. Okay, fine, just in general.
And politicians, councillors, and support staff were weaponizing the city's own database systems against us. So there are records.
Okay. So, wow, councillors and officials using the databases against the city. So we've got individuals inside the authorities of sorts, the municipalities, I suppose.
Courts which they have access to, which in the past were at site. It's also become clear that certain politicians, councillors, and support staff. Officials, support staff. This is so, guys, big surprise. That's corruption. Support staff using the database against the city. Were weaponizing the city's own database systems against us. So there are records which they have access to, which in the past maybe did not come with levels of confidentiality, classification, etc. We're an open and transparent city, we have an open data policy, but where the councillors have access to the GIS system of the city. And while that is publicly accessible, the publicly accessible version is limited to the data it can see. The intranet version would allow, and did allow, councillors to go do searches on these available property holdings, print out potentially maps of where they were. Okay, so it seems like there was some sort of, Is everyone corrupt, or is no one corrupt? Everyone's a little corrupt. Everyone does a little bit of thing on the side. Of course, you need housing for people, but as a requirement to get people away from what's yours. Yeah, you can't erode property rights in order to get people housing, because there's going to be you're still eroding the rest of the incentives of anyone to involve themselves with your country. If a corporation knows that land can be invaded and their facilities can be just fucked around, quite easily, why? There's too much risk in investing in an African country, South Africa. Councillors, officials, support staff, database against the city. So it seems like there was transparency, but the GIS maps, GIS info, seems to have been leaked. So it seems to have been leaked that they would have printed it out and seen which places are earmarked for this. And we could see that this was being done.
Within the city, there is a department called Informal Settlement Department.
Yeah, we remember he was speaking to that. There is literally an informal settlement department, which is just, okay, wow. Informal settlements department about the city. Okay, cool. Then, Axel, come here, my baby. Come here, my baby. It's okay. Come here. Come here, mama. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's very, very upset. Didi, where's your brother? Hey? Come here, sad boy.
These officials is in control of these informal settlements, and they They create informal settlements. I can tell you that.
They create them. So they're the Department of Informal Settlements and they create them. So Daisy says that they create them. Of actually creates them. Yeah, they're supposed to be informal.
The land grabs.
It's supposed to be just the land grabs is predominantly people not born in the Western Cape.
Predominantly people not born in the Western Cape.
Oh wow. Okay, this is what Daisy is telling us. Land grabbers by people not born in the Western Cape. Interesting. It would be true.
Because we
It
saw
would be
how
interesting to find out.
how they've been bussed in.
They were bussed. There's always this buses, but people were bussed in to vote and this and that. They always have these freaking buses of people because we saw how they bussed.
And then you get from our poor colored people that have nowhere to go, and then
our poor colored people.
how they've been bussed in, and then
That's a normal term. You should know this by now if you've been around the channel. Colored is the same thing as saying mixed race, and it's just yes, it could be offensive, but it is a term that's used in South Africa anyway. So you get our poor colored people who have nowhere to go. So there's a lot of colored people, mixed race people in Western Cape. Literally, there is a thing called the Cape Colored, so that they are being actually forced out, I suppose, by other people from other provinces.
you get from our poor colored people that have nowhere to go, and then there's always a committee that they need to speak to that is actually selling a plot.
Okay, there's a committee selling the plots
for 5,000 or whatever to them, and then they have to pay it off like a monthly rate. And if they don't,
Well, they're paying this committee. This is a question mark for me. Tell us, Joe. Committee is selling the plot for like 5,000 rand. Pay over a month. So they sell plots.
don't pay these monies, then they are being evicted unlawfully. False case of government, and especially the ruling parties is involved in this shack farming. So
Okay, she's just saying government is involved in shack farming. I am not giving the government the benefit of the doubt here. Sorry.
There's a clear indication that there is a syndicate within the city that is giving permission to certain groups, and this is what how the city use our vulnerable people to create informal settlements to escape building houses. They are
They're using it. So she says that they're using it to escape, to avoid. Okay, so that is how they benefits. They don't have to spend the money on RDP housing and all of that. They don't have to deliver on the housing to avoid building houses.
really to use our vulnerable people to create informal
Settlements to escape building houses, and this is like one of the main freaking promises that was always given to the people after apartheid, is that they will be given houses. And there's always this, you'll be given every election, everybody's just going to get everything, don't worry. And if you don't vote for ANC, you're probably going to go back to apartheid. So that's the way you got to think. And we got to keep our people uneducated, so they can't think for themselves. They can't figure this out. They can't figure out that they're being manipulated. They're just going to stay in fear and stay in hate and be pawns for the elites. Fucking disgusting.
settlements to escape building houses. They are really the creators of these inhuman living conditions.
Once again, I asked the city about the general allegations that they might be behind land grabs or land invasions in general, and here's what they had to say. The city is not...
Okay, so allegations confronted. Let's go. The city responds. to allegations. Okay. What did they say? The city
Not
is
aware of any allegations. Residents
they're not aware. We don't know what you guys are talking about. Just deny. Don't even know. The city is not aware of any such allegations. Residents are encouraged to report allegations for investigation. Denied. But please report. But encourages to report the allegations. Okay, please report the allegations so that we can completely ignore them. We investigated ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. We found we were fine. Please report us to us. Okay? Report us to ourselves and we will take care of it. Promise.
are encouraged to report all allegations for investigation. Basically, they're saying we can neither confirm nor deny, but
we can neither confirm nor deny. And they're like, no, they've denied. I don't think they are saying. Do you guys think they're saying we can neither confirm nor deny? They're just like, yeah, let's kick some tires. They're just fluffing about. That's what they're doing. I don't think they're saying neither confirm nor deny. They're not even going that far.
let us know if you hear anything. So I took it further.
Let us know if you hear everything. Okay, so he has DA.
I reached out to DA spokesperson on human settlements in the portfolio committee. What does he make of the claims that a syndicate could be behind these invasions?
Yeah, so DA is supposed to be the savior, okay? They're supposed to be they're the part of the official opposition to ANC. And yes, we've got a government of national unity or whatever the fuck it is at the moment. Is it really? Okay, where there's a coalition of the parties, because we're not like America where there's more than one party. There's many parties that take up our parliament and everything. And they all went into well, not all of them, but they went into a coalition to rule the GNU, to rule the government, rule the party and rule the country. And it was supposed to be great and exciting. And of course, my pessimistic ass was like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, let's see what DA spokesperson of Human Settlement has to say about the allegations, because DA is supposed to be perfect, okay? DA is supposed to be the non-corrupt. ANC is supposed to be the only corrupt. Whereas it just seems like all of these fuckers are full of shit. Okay? And that's why also people don't vote. They don't vote for anything. They're like, I'm not fucking participating. It's the gay NC, not the GNU.
Possibly even within the city.
All right, my name is Luyo Lompiti.
Okay, Luyo. Hold up, Luyo. Luyolo. He just said it very quickly. DA spokesperson, Human Settlements.
I am the spokesperson on the Human Settlements Portfolio Committee in Parliament from the Democratic Alliance. You know, for the past
from the DA, woohoo! Well now?
couple of years, we've been dealing with the construction mafia across the country.
It will behoove you not to say that there's no problem. So nicely done.
And it really is in every form, shape in our municipality.
Master builders say construction mafia is a barrier to growth. Okay. The new Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure because there's always a fucking new minister. Okay, there really is, because we shuffle the ministers all around. It's not about a meritocracy. It's like, who shall we put into this position? It's not, oh, what are their expertise? No, it's just, let's just put this person here because she's our friend. Meeting with investors to explore the infrastructure partnerships. He aims to transform South Africa into a major construction hub, which is promising for the struggling construction industry. However, from the Master Builders Association, North warns that ongoing issue with the construction mafia is still a significant obstacle to the industry's recovery and job creation. Yeah, me?
Municipalities, provinces, national, where you have these construction mafias who infiltrate projects and tender for projects, and when they don't get them, will hold the municipality or the city hostage.
Okay, so we got cool. We got it's the tender. This is what I was talking about. You guys were talking about someone getting one of your relatives or whatever getting hit because they got a tender. Sounds like this. Construction tenders. Construction companies. holding the hostage when they don't get tenders. Wow. So they do this. Construction mafia. Did I just hear that? Yes. So they are construction companies. This is them explain it
for the
again.
fact that they did not tender for this national, where you
So
have
tender, you know, a government tender. I think that's a normal. Yeah, you've got that in all over the world. People call it a government tender, government project, government contract for construction. So they're like, if we don't get it, nobody gets it. Is essentially what they're doing.
these construction mafias who infiltrate projects and tender for projects, and when they don't get them, will hold the municipality or the city hostage for the fact that they did not receive the project. And then this is where you then find unlawful occupations taking place.
So it's like, oh, we had this whole land that we were going to go and construct housing for our people under. That's cool. That's what we're going to do. But oh, you didn't give it to the right company. So guess what? That land not going to anyone. Cape Town official threatened project relaunch despite construction mafia intimidation. Wow. Member Carl Popham says he was threatened after relaunching the Delft housing project halted in 2023 after the murder of city employee Wendy Kloppers. Yeah, so there's actual whole murders that happened. Nicely done.
The construction mafia has undeniably been a problem for the city. Could some officials be working with them? It's not out of the realm of possibility. There's no
Yeah. People without scruples. Extortion rackets run amok. What can be done? What can be done?
question that gangsters and mafias are involved in land grabs, whether they're extorting property owners for protection or facilitating shack farming for profit. And you'd think politicians would rally behind people like Luyolo or the DA's efforts to stop these invasions.
Okay, so politicians, he is a politician himself. He's a spokesperson, whatever. I would call him a politician. But anyway, people are not rallying. They're not even paying lip service to this, as far as I'm aware. I'm a kitty cat, and I dance, and I dance. Welcome to the colony, Melissa Hartland. I appreciate you. Guys, we are a few away from 1,500. And I would love to get a 1,500 subscribers by the end of June. We have a few days left. Let's go. And maybe we'll have a little bit more South Africans jumping on, because our time zones work a lot better, and we can also make South African jokes in chat. I would really appreciate that. So tell your mom, tell your Tanny to follow that Don Kitty. Mafia not so bad because construction or distribution. What would you call it? A racket. They glad to watch. Thanks.
Sadly, they don't.
In most communities where projects are being brought to the community, there's community participation that needs to take place.
Okay, so yeah, we don't. It seems like government not really interested in championing this, in joining this fight. The fight, and I would say, yeah, that again, no, what do you call it? No benefit of the doubt given to the government here. It's oh no, maybe they just don't know. No, they know, and I do think there's people there.
The project is where projects are being brought to the community. There's community.
Sadly, they don't.
In most communities where projects are being brought to the community, there's community participation that needs to take place. When the project is being brought.
Oh, it's always a nice idea. It's like community participation. Construction projects involve the community. Cool. That's great. That I remember when we did like community psychology and things like this. This is what we spoke about, and it all sounded really good. Community engagement. Hey, Dildo, what's up?
To the community, the councillor together with the municipality would meet with the community to, bring the project forth, and then people have expectations of jobs, expectations.
Yeah, there's always wanting jobs. Hello, like we quoted the unemployment, in South Africa. Just they also just want jobs to be handed out from the government, because the government has created that expectation as well. We will create jobs. Okay. How are we going to do that? You're making our country very unattractive to anyone who would invest in it, because guess what? Other people have more money than us. But you are making us less attractive, and we're somehow going to still manage to feed our own people, and they can clothe themselves, and they can find their own employment. Cool. We're just going to build up.
Of when will they get houses, and this is because people have been waiting for houses since 1996. And
did you hear that? Sorry. Would you guys let me put this full screen for you to hear this, to hear and witness. Okay.
People have, when will they get houses, and this is because people have been waiting for houses since 1996. And
folks, 1996. Okay, so when you've been waiting for a house since 1996, I think becoming a squatter and whatever is not a problem for you. You're like, why not? If this is the way that I'm going to go, let's go. If this is the way I'll get a house, nice. So anyway, involve community. We've got expectation of housing and jobs. Cool. That's the whole idea.
And people have not received those houses. And so there is a lot of tension on the ground when it comes to these particular issues. And what then tends to happen is that you have political mercenaries that essentially hijack the emotions of community members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so expectation of housing and jobs not met. Not met. So they don't get it because of the government. But then there's politicians that then go and incite this, okay?
To happen is that you have political mercenaries that essentially hijack the emotions of community members.
Okay. And that leads to political, what are mercenaries? Hijacking emotions. We love that word hijacking in South Africa. Hijacking emotions of the people, the community, okay? And that would be someone like Julius Malema, EFF, just anyone from the EFF saying that we will take the land. I think we do have a clip here.
Land. We've seen numerous political parties like the EFF.
Yeah, EFF. If land is vacant, we will take it. EFF leads land invasion outside Sandton. So remember, this goes back to the whole idea of, oh no, they the white farmer is persecuted and all of that. And this is part of the denials that went into this as well, is that invasions don't happen. Land invasions don't happen at all. Even if you're not looking at it by race, the point is we have people that are here stating that they are going to invade land. And we're just cool with that. As a political party, we're just gonna, it's just the EFF. They're just full of shit. It's fine. If land is vacant, we will take it. Okay, so vacant means if you can see the land and there is no house on it, not even the garden, no, it's vacant. Cool. Sounds like it's capitalistic or Darwinian if everyone is thinking short term and not building. Oh, absolutely, atheist. That's exactly it. Nobody is thinking long term benefit. What it feels like with our politicians, and what I've always said, and it's not genius or anything, it's really just the most normie take, but it's like our politicians don't do corruption like normal politicians, where a normal politician would just take some off the top, just keep everything running, because if you keep the government running smoothly, then you have more of an opportunity. You keep the cow alive for milking. But what our government seems to do is milk this cow all the way to death. And it's just not a good idea for anybody. If you're going to be greedy, why don't you just make sure that this cow stays alive? So for the milking, just take a bit off the top. I feel like that's what happens with all other governments that get around. I disagree. The cow is already dead now. That's true. It is dead. It's long dead. We're trying to fertilize the ground with the dead cow and grow some wheat. I don't know. But yeah, this whole thing of growth just is not an idea. Oh, I'm locked. Hold on. Yes, see. I locked my door earlier, which is just highly irregular in Dubai, you know. Solid. Sorry. Everyone say hi to Gordon. Hi, my baby. Okay. South Africa on the brain. Yeah, it's for real. I did lock it earlier. My doors are unlocked. Let them go. Hail Gordon. They say hello, Gordon. He says hello. Hi, Gordon. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what's up. Gordo. I tend to think South Africa is the most advanced country in Africa. That used to be the case. It used to be easy peasy. People think that. But it's starting to change. People are not taking us that seriously anymore. Hey, speaking of which, Lesotho has Starlink, guys. South Africa, not so much. Lesotho, the little landlocked country that's in there, they have it. I would be scared to visit the continent, to be fair. Yeah, I think that there are places just as dangerous, but the thing is, there are places that it's beautiful. It's worth seeing. But then again, it's very difficult to sell with this sort of shit going on. Like, why? It's a beautiful. The thing is, its beauty is what it has going for it. Rwanda is going way better than SA right now. Yeah, one whole genocide later, it's doing well. So we're going to Lesotho border for free Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's exactly. One of my favorite people that I follow on Twitter, she's like, "Oh, let me move to Free State." She's like, "Let me go, so I can be closer."
Make calls to South Africans to invade land. I mean, just last week, the member from Marshall Dlamini from the EFF made a call to South Africans in his rally to say, invade land unlawfully.
The message is
here is the clip. Let's put it
clear. When you see any unoccupied land, go and occupy that land until all our land has been returned back to the owners of our land.
Where we should.
Great stuff. Just go and occupy the land until all of it. That's actually quite interesting, because when will it be? When will it be enough? When will all of it? When will enough land be given back? When all of it's not occupied by anyone white, I suppose. Not this land, not his land. This country is unwell and sick. Guys, hopefully we get some sort of hopeful message at the end. Come see the cradle of mankind. Yeah.
Put our energies.
Although some of the stuff, the touristy stuff is...
Parties like the EFF should be putting their energies.
Just go to the Kruger. Just go to the Kruger. Oh.
Is on holding the Department of Human Settlements to account for the corruption that it has done throughout all. The EFF should be putting their energies. Is on holding the Department of Human
So just EFF. Let's just go EFF.
Settlements to account. Where we should put our energies, where parties like the EFF should be putting their energies, is on holding the Department of Human Settlements to account for the corruption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. EFF inciting land grabs rather than calling human settlements departments to account. Okay. But it is very easy for the DA to go, this other party over there, that's a problem.
That it has done throughout all these years, for the corruption that continues to happen in situations like the Housing Development Agency, the National Housing
Fraudster arrested after religion. RDP Housing, yeah.
And Financial Corporation, those institutions where we've seen gross financial mismanagement over a long period of time have remained unchecked. And that is where organizations like that should focus their attention, because that is where the crisis is.
That includes not just the EFF, but also the NCC, the National College Congress.
Okay. See that literally. Can we get Marxism? Can we get a Marxism tab? What for how often it's it's used, it's invoked. I heard there are cool crystal-rich caves and stuff in South Africa. I need to find some of my favorite places in South Africa as a palate cleanser.
And others who participate in land invasions try and stop the city from acting on land invasions, intimidate our staff, lead violent protests against the city staff. And there is a very unfortunate thing that
That's what our voting ballots look like, guys. You just put a little X next to the party. There's the person's face. Ta-da! Your local, national, your ward, or
happens around election time. Your protest action increases dramatically.
Yep, the cycle continues. We get when it comes to what do you call it? I guess I don't know. Does that happen in other countries? I'm sure it does. It's just, hey, election equals unrest. Election time leads higher protest action. Okay.
Because political parties desire relevance and then start protesting in order as one form of political activity.
Our land, our dignity. Yeah, they carry on about this whole that it's land, it's land, it's land. When we get the land back, everything will be better. Like once you just have land, that is when South Africa will be fine. Like, what is everyone going to be a farmer? What is this whole thing? There's this very short-sighted thing. Just like, okay, this is going to solve all your problems. Okay, fine.
To secure media attention, social media posts, and relevance. And a particularly problematic dynamic that emerges is the contestation within, for instance, the ANC and the EFF for the nomination for a particular ward. So it's not that the fight is between the ANC and the DA. It's that within the ANC, aspirant candidates are vying for prominence. And
oh God, so it goes all the way down. So we've got, it's not even party politics, it's within the party. In party leaders within the party, leaders within political, using land as an issue to gain relevance and popularity. And of course, the people are desperate to hear something good. They're desperate to hear the promise that they're going to get.
Using land invasions and their ability to facilitate a land invasion as a means of securing support for themselves, and firstly securing the nomination and then later winning the ward. You know, the EFF will say, oh, every land invasion is a victory. No, it is not.
Wow. Every land invasion is a victory.
You're condemning the persons on that land in perpetuity to high risk of flooding, fire, a lack of services, a lack of waste removal, because none of those things can be done once the structure's built.
Yeah. Okay, well, last bit here.
Hey, this is race course where the racing.
There you go. Okay, so I was right? They had flooding. The thing is, any land that is, there's no safety. The safety committee hasn't approved it, but here we go. We're just going to go and occupy it, and we're going to have people dying in floods.
None of those things can be done once the structure's built.
One is staying there. This is race course where the racing was. I don't know how you survive there. I don't know how you sleep there, deep inside the water. Oh, man.
That is not, even if you don't drown. Okay, when the floods come, when flood water comes through, can you imagine the filth there? Okay, it's not clean already, but the disease that sits with stagnant water. Oh my gosh. So like EFF, every land occupation is a victory. Lies, actually. Horrible conditions. Nothing surprising here.
A land invasion is per definition unplanned. Therefore, without services, it is almost impossible to add those services afterwards.
Unplanned. Okay, by definition, it's unplanned because it's informal. Okay, I understand that. It's unplanned as in terms of the structures are unplanned. Unplanned. Therefore, infrastructure impossible, right? It's fine. It's difficult for that, but let's not forget that there is the planning that goes on for it to occur. But yes, in terms of actually when people are putting their shacks up and everything, there's no planning involved. It's just I put my, hey, this is a nice spot, let's go. What social working is coming around my place soon. I'll be AFK, but at least Hot Chick visiting will learn about South Africa. and you can be like, yes, things could be worse. If they expire from starvation, won't all of their problems be solved? Yeah, exactly. That's true. No architect plans. Really? They don't?
And they are subject to incredibly high levels of vandalism constantly and illegal connections, etc. So
Ooh, yeah, illegal connections. You see these lines here? Yes, it is an AR picture, but that is what it actually. It looks actually worse than that. Let me look for a picture for you guys. Illegal electricity connections, South Africa. Let's look at some images. Business live. That's Cape Town. Okay, open link in new tab. Open image in new tab. There we go. Yeah. Like you'll have a whole bunch of just lines all over the freaking place like this. Let's see some others. Oh, this is a fun thing with South Africa is where you say something must fall. Illegal electricity connections must fall. So whenever you're pissed off about something, it must fall. Yeah. So look, you see I saw these things in Japan and things like that, but that doesn't make it okay. So yeah, you get that sort of stuff. They get creative, yeah, they do, and it's a bit scary. Like, where is it? You know where people will just they have their weddings and shit out. It's not Magaliesburg, is it? It might be. There's a certain area that you drive past there, and whenever I drive under those lines, well, I mean, I don't do it now, but whenever I would drive under those lines, I would be like, okay, I'm in my car, so maybe hopefully it's the same sort of thing as being struck by lightning or whatever. If any of this shit it'll go through the car and whatever. It looks horrific. Santo Domingo is like that as well, yeah. It's people are crazy. Like, oh, I'll connect it for you, bro. Those lines seem scary. They're actually not as scary as you think. They're electric lines. No, I'm scared of it. I'm scared of electricity, boys.
Service delivery becomes unsustainable and untenable. So every land invasion,
electricity, gas, all of the things that we need.
It's just high levels of crime for the people who live in there. Ask the occupants of Marikana. High levels of fire.
Oh, he brought up Marikana. That's interesting.
And flooding disasters that become.
There's always it's called shack fires, and there's actually something called fire season, which you guys are actually in South Africa right now. Is winter is fire season. For mostly with shacks, because people they're not going to have a little electric heater or anything like that. They're going to have a fire, an open flame just in their shack, and then their shack burns down, and horrific deaths just happen over winter like that. When you're bundled up, it's just more easy to reconnect if something causes disaster. You just why not? When it rains, the creative wires, get drenched, and then they do the connections, but they want to hold the municipality responsible when the kids get fucked. Yeah, that's true, and also they just never gonna pay for it. So, and then they'll get upset when there's load shedding, I suppose.
Become unavoidable and unpreventable under those circumstances, with structures not being built with adequate fire breaks, not having access to underground services. You have to lift the structures to put
you got a license for that shack
in the underground services, and nobody is willing to lift the structures. And it's not just me who thinks it's broken. Anybody who's applied their mind in any reasonable way will tell you.
Yeah, I'm not that government minded, and I can see this. Yeah, anybody who can apply their mind a little bit. Hey, Zaxi, good morning. I'm actually almost on my way out. I'm just trying to see what else we could get to 40 minutes here and then do the next 20 tomorrow.
It is broken. Chris is a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen, a contributor to society, and yet his property was taken from him. He wasn't evicted by the courts, not by the state, but by land invaders. And here's the twisted part. If Chris wants to remove them from his land, the law says that he must find them alternative accommodation. A man
He's got to find all of those people, boys. Look, sorry, let's do this again. We are repeating it, but look, all of those people, sorry, it's his responsibility to find them another place to go, and then he's got to take all the shit out, and then rebuild his whole place. There is nothing this man can do.
and is forcefully removed from his own property, and he's the one expected to provide housing for the people.
Yeah, no, this is a great, you know what, it's a great move by government. Hey, you guys, you solve it. We're just outsourcing, guys. We're just outsourcing our housing provisions to the people that get fucked.
Who kicked him out. Everyone shrugs, points fingers, blames everyone else, but no one restores what he lost. No one gives him his life back. Because in South Africa, under the PI Act, it's perfectly legal for someone to evict you, but you can't evict them. So
yeah. So are we going to get into solutions?
What can be done? Are there any?
Okay, that's what we'll get into tomorrow, guys. I know it's Wednesday, but I didn't stream on Monday, so I will stream. I will stream tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll get into solutions. I think we'll get through this tomorrow. I think what this will give me is just a little bit of notes for me to make a commentary video. But I mean, you guys are here for it. That's it. Really appreciate what Joe's done here, and I can't wait to see what we can actually do as a solution, because right now all I am is pissed off. Okay, that is just it. Daisy's ear is here for you. There we go. Come here. There you go. There's a Daisy. Oh, sorry, dude. I put it right in her ear. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for what? Current plan users. No, I don't care. Am I not logged in? Let me just save this locally in case. Okay. So much for light content. Great stuff. Thanks, Kitty. Thanks so much, Wade. No, we're not doing light content anymore. The world, you know, the world's burning. But you know what? Just think about South Africa for a little while. That's what I thought we could do for the Americans, you know? Enjoy everything. As you said, colonizers have a woke one. Guys, I present to you a new outro song, which is a banger. And of course, it is by Creamage. I hope you enjoy it. Hold on, let me actually remove this. Just add. Sorry, I added it later, and it's got a really great. If you're feeling shit after this content, I have something to say to you, and it'll be great. Just see you tomorrow. Enjoy the outro.
I'll see you next time, chat. I hope you had fun. We had a pretty great time, but now we're done. If you disagreed with me, that's okay. It's fine to be completely wrong and gay. Daisy was a menace with her tail in the frame, but she's a pretty kitty with a fluffy mane. I'm about to go and touch the sky, so for now, friends, Kate, thanks, bye.
Shut up, bitch! Shut up, bitch!